So we have two robotic buggies on the course. This first one here today, this is Atlas pushing Baby Buggy. They are the control is going to be partially remote controlled, and then hopefully it will be autonomous. At the moment, on the front hills here for one hill two, it will be remote controlled, and it looks a little more under control at the moment. They will be going into the free roll. The free roll will begin remote controlled, and then the plan is that it will switch to being fully autonomous once it reaches a certain point in the free roll and get a bagel from its own location.
How's that look out there?
The hope is that they will be able to make it the rest of the way through the course while being fully autonomous.
That would be the full back.
That would be about half the free roll and then the full back ends. And I think yesterday Atlas was having some difficulties there. There was a problem with the connection between their remote, the controls and the buggy itself, so there was something missing. But they, I believe.
Of its own.
The irony of that statement is
And keeping going here. Again, not positive whether it is autonomous yet or not.
if that's not autonomous, then I'm really sad.
Unfortunately, Mark Estes does not have a microphone in his hand. He's provided some additional commentary on the performance of the Atlas buggy. Mark going to be joining us later for the men's races. Right now, I'm joined by.
Live streaming from the
And we're coming up at the stop sign here, it looks like, in a solid time of, here it comes, 3 minutes and, oh, they just switched, but about 3:34 to the stop sign, 3:34 to the stop
Very
sign,
good.
which for those of you out there, is still a little faster than Camo does it. A little faster than Camo.
And this is, what is the record for autonomous? 5?
The record for fully autonomous was set by Atlas with Robo Quasar back in 2017. No, Atlas has the record for fully autonomous. Yeah, in 2017? It crashed twice. All right, I'm sorry. We're speaking with Robo Buggy people here. They insist they have the record. Well, let's put it this way: if Robo Buggy has the record, which hopefully they'll break today either way, that record would be 6 minutes and 6 minutes flat, 0.81 seconds. Atlas's record is 5:45 and 42 seconds, something like that. But we will see. Robo Buggy put up a very solid 2:52 time yesterday, so they should easily break the 6-minute mark.
And this one of the most heated rivalries in all of Buggy. Atlas, Robo Buggy, you can just feel the hatred and anger between these two teams trying to get that top time.
Okay, Atlas just took the shoot turn. I think it missed the pothole.
That's good.
It looked like it missed the pothole.
Oh yeah, Jordan.
Oh, we got Jordan here. Hey!
How was that shoot turn?
5-minute warning. 5 minutes.
Oh. We haven't seen other buggies taking that line, going a little sharper than most, and then going on the outer hay bales here, but looks good going into hill free, some great speed.
And we just heard the count, 5 minutes till the next exhibition. Danger, perhaps, of Atlas being lapped, depending on how things may turn out here on the back hills.
And it's always rough. I feel bad for that Hill 3 pusher right now because that pickup was
Not
good. That's pretty far down.
No windows for him.
No, and that's going to be rough because that's a tough hill. I got pretty winded just walking up it this morning, but he does look in a little better shape than I am.
And one thing, really, if this is maybe your first race day, to get an idea of the course, kind of while it's still slow out here, while you can still get a nice spot, just walk like the hills. Yeah. And you will understand how heavy is a buggy with a driver?
It varies wildly.
Okay.
Mostly by the weight of the drive. The buggies themselves are probably 20-ish pounds.
I would
average.
say probably most of them at this point are between 20 and 30.
That's wild.
Anyways, imagine that plus a human and pushing it on that course when you walk it, and you'll understand what amazing shape these athletes are to make it look so easy. Yeah, just walking up to the booth here is just tiring for us.
Oh,
these folks are.
The Hill 4-5 transition was looking like it was going to be really good, and then the buggy had a mind of its own there for a second. But they're back on course, and here comes Hill 5. And now, if you're watching this at home or on the course and you're wondering, well, this looks like a baby buggy. Well, that's because it's called baby buggy. It is more like a baby buggy than the rest of the vehicles that you will see today. The other unique thing about this, which we've mentioned a little bit, is that obviously there is no person involved inside it. This one is a computer. This is a robotic buggy. But most of the buggies that you will see today do in fact have people inside. They may not look like it, but they do. And we'll get into that a little bit more a little bit later in exhibitions, maybe in our third exhibition heat today. But here comes Atlas. They're halfway through Hill 5 now, and Hill 5 is particularly long, and it is tiring. It's flat. It's not a steep hill, but it is very long. We'll see here if they can break the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, so if you're just arriving on the course, there are video screens up at the top of the hill and at the bottom of the hill. So if you'd like to watch the entire race, that's a great place to stand. But there's exciting things happening all around the loop. So generally, if you see somebody standing there, they probably know what they're watching, and you can just ask them.
Congratulations there to Atlas coming across the line there.
And I'd like to throw a special shout out here to CMU TV here. We had some technical difficulties yesterday with the clock.
2 minutes.
But they've got it up and running, and it looks perfect so far. So thank you to them for getting that up and working today.
Let's take a look here. So we are down one exhibition. We're about 2 minutes to the next one. I see that being Spirit, CIA, and Apex. With maybe some people mixed in on the teams. I see Adam McHugh out there. Apex, Adam McHugh with Apex. All right, Adam McHugh, baby.
And I did get word he is talking to Connor Hayes, yesterday's Apex B Hill 2 pusher.
Old man Hayes.
And Apex B did in fact make second race day. So the men's B team will be pushing in finals. My understanding is that Connor Hayes will not be part of that team. Apparently being here for your 10th year is enough to make you too old to push 2 days in a row. So they will be swapping in someone else.
1 minute.
Welcome everyone to CMU TV's roast of Connor Hayes.
We've got 1 minute to the next exhibition heat, which is Spirit in lane 1, CIA in lane 2, and Apex in lane 3. I believe CIA's team will be their men's E team.
Yes, this is their suit race. So they had so many pushers this year. Typically their D team is their suit race. So it's usually all the mechanics. They all put on suits, and they
30
push that team.
seconds.
But they had so many
30
pushers.
seconds.
It was their E team.
Wow.
And I see someone in a no jacket, which is a little surprising. I'm a little disappointed in the CIAE Hill 2 pusher for not wearing a jacket.
He's got a tie, though.
He does have a tie, and it is a very nice shirt and very nice pants with sneakers. It's a solid get up there.
Oh, the duck mask is back.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Quack,
And
quack, quack.
here we are. The Mighty Duck right now, looking to maybe be in first right there.
So this is Phoenix. Apex's team has rolling Phoenix in lane 3. We've got CIA with Icarus
Yeah.
in lane 2, and lane 1 is Spirit with, I can't quite read the name yet, but I will shortly. It is Kingpin. And Apex blowing them out with
Oh, there
Adam
goes McHugh.
Adam McHugh.
But Spirit picking up a lot of ground on Apex there. McHugh better push a little faster.
Oh, wow, Spirit really making up some ground right there, taking the wide line.
This
but
is
maybe
go-
they can hug the
This
other
is
one.
going to be a shockingly exciting exhibition, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, well,
Kingpin already looking to pass. They were
Oh.
going to go inside. They swerved outside, but it looks like, I believe they're going to be.
Okay,
they're
Spirit's
going
taking a
for-
wide line around Apex.
and oh my, and we got a squirrel on the course. And it looks like Apex may be able to maintain that lead. Spirit
Got a,
going really
got a
wide.
my-
whoa,
oh my.
stop sign for both.
Okay, Jordan.
Jordan, what's going on down there?
So they're coming down pretty close to each other. They're about to reach the top
Oh.
flag. Looks like Spirit is still trying to position to make that pass, but Apex is keeping the lead there.
I
don't
think they
think
hit the
they're gonna be
brakes
able to
because
do it.
they're
Yeah.
slowing down a little bit more, which is very smart in exhibitions.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
don't
worth it.
pass in an exhibition heat.
Absolutely. Phoenix is through cleanly, though. Spirit following behind. Maybe on the back hills we'll see some pusher action make that pass there.
But yeah, Spirit definitely hit the brakes there.
And CIA is also coming through cleanly. No issues there. The back right wheel is much larger than the back left wheel. Might be testing out some new theories.
And a pretty nice pickup there from Apex. Maybe making the difference there. A lot of momentum into that shove. Spirit now just making that 3-4 transition, and CIA picked up a little bit of ground there.
And you can see a bit of the suit on the Hill 3 pusher there in the back.
Oh yeah, they all got their suits
Yeah.
on.
Hill 4 right here for Spirit.
Yeah, it looks
making up some room right here. And,
Yeah, after Hill 3 of Apex kind of pulled away a bit, it looks like Hill 4
yeah.
is gaining now.
Yeah, but you see that pusher for Apex keeps looking behind. Feeling the pressure is that Calvin Chan there on Hill 5, one of the founding members of Apex. It's going to be a foot race right there between Calvin and whoever's there on Spirit. It's Calvin's OC, so I know his name. Calvin chugging there, but he's losing a little bit of space. This is an exhibition.
Look at this pass! Spirit has passed Apex! Spirit has passed Apex!
Coming in, and this is an incredibly respectable 241.4 Apex just behind right there. And the suit race for CIA coming in a little bit behind that one right there. 254.
And I do want to throw a shout out now to the Kingpin driver there, because she won't hear this because she's in the buggy, but maybe she'll watch this later. She did a great job because, again, for exhibitions, she did
Five-minute
what she could to
warning.
pass early
5
on. When she
minutes.
realized in the safe areas, when she realized she wasn't going to be able to do that, she hit the brakes, made sure everyone got through exhibitions cleanly,
And took a
safely.
controlled line through the chute.
Exactly, because the last thing you want is carnage during exhibitions when it
Ooh,
doesn't really
look, we have
matter.
a replay of this pass, or something resembling, something close to the pass.
Yeah. That is.
What a great way
Wild.
to kick off
Yeah.
exhibitions 2019.
And all these teams, here, folks maybe didn't make it to day 2, alumni, people just kind of out here to have fun, couldn't get enough buggy, packed into their 4 years or 10 years as it may be for Connor. And out there just kind of being able to enjoy themselves. So nice to see that. Next up, it looks like we have drivers and Pika.
What does drivers mean?
So the driver's heat is going to be a combination of, I believe, 5, it may be more, but 5 drivers from different organizations, all getting a chance to push. They will be pushing, I don't remember which organization's buggy. We will find out once they hit the course. I'll see if we can get maybe a list of people pushing, if we have that.
They are not, but I'm not really getting it's just like
I don't have that at the moment, but if there is someone on the course who knows which drivers are pushing this heat, if you want to stop by the broadcast booth, we'll get that information out there. A brief update. We did get an update from Atlas. They were unfortunately, again, having some technical issues on their end, so they were not able to get it to roll autonomously. So that was fully tele-operated. So Robo Buggy a little bit later is planning on rolling fully autonomous, so we'll hopefully get a chance to see that. Yesterday they had an issue with cloud cover, making it a little harder. Today in Pittsburgh, it is a beautiful day. Knock on wood, now that I've said it, that could be problematic, but there's only a couple of clouds in the sky. It's relatively nice temperature-wise. It's a little cold at the moment, but it's going to warm up throughout the day. I believe it's a high of about 75 today.
Yeah, 70-something. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
And as mentioned, we have drivers in Pica. Not sure what the Pica exhibition heat may be. It could even be one of their B or C teams on the women's side from last year.
It could be.
See one of their women's pushers out there. And then some exciting stuff. Fringe, it's their 25th anniversary, so happy birthday.
It's their 50th
Sorry.
anniversary.
My bad. All right.
Everybody just shouted.
Yeah, right. All right. You know what? Ban me. Get me out of here. But it's their 50th. Happy 50th, Fringe. So they're going to have 3 teams in an anniversary race, which should be pretty exciting. Pica alum and then Signu alum. Always an exciting, heated grudge match. And then finally, there is an all...
2-minute warning. 2 minutes.
Between
2
MCS
minutes.
and CIT faculty is going to be the last exhibition, and these faculty have been like training and been coached on the ways of Buggy. I think there are some Buggy alums who are now professors here, so that some treats to look forward to before we get into the real money races. Women's again starting at 9:35 a.m. So if you're tuning in. You still got a little bit of time to make it down to the course, get yourself a nice spot to check out those finals, getting underway at 9:35. And we got, we have exhibitions leading up to that.
And just as a quick note here, as we're doing exhibitions now, just to give you a little heads up, we do have a couple of additional re-rolls from yesterday. Women's SDCC will be re-rolling due to, I believe, interference at the top of Hill 2. Spirit
1
B was in
minute.
that heat and was
1
disqualified
minute.
for that interference. And then on the men's side, and that'll be a little bit later, I believe 10:50 is the scheduled time for the re-roll of that. CIA B men's with Equinox will be re-rolling. That was the incident yesterday between Pica C and CIA B where they
basically got
and,
tangled.
Yeah, they got locked together. After tape review, Sweepstakes determined that Pica C was at fault for the incident. So
30
Pica C was disqualified,
seconds.
and
30
CIA B has been granted
seconds.
for today. Do we have a shot of the buggies? I don't know if the buggies are down yet. If we can see who is in.
Yeah, it's still pretty. If you want to. Cool. See if that takes care of it. Awesome. Appreciate it.
All right, we just got one update for the drivers' heat in this coming race. The driver that just ran and won the last exhibition in Kingpin
10,
is one of the pushers.
9,
It
8,
is,
7,
I believe that is Sarah
6,
from Spirit as the driver
5,
buggy.
4,
And I believe
3,
the first driver looks like she's from
2,
Fringe. I think that's their T-shirt.
1, ready, set.
And they are off. And I'm going to guess here based on the shirts and what we saw yesterday, but I'm going to assume that the Pica buggy is their new buggy Wraith. So this may be the Pica women's C team, who did not get a chance to roll yesterday, or it could be the B team.
Yeah.
Both of them missed out yesterday, so I take it back. I see the stripe. It is Cleona.
Yep.
My apologies. So this is Pica B women's. And Seraph here. So we've got Fringe going to the second driver. Unfortunately, does not have a shirt that has a team name on it, so I don't know whose team it is.
Cleona clearing away pretty ahead right there. A lot of separation, so not going to be quite as dramatic, we would imagine, as the last exhibition heat, which I guess I haven't quite been doing this long enough. That had to be one of the best exhibition heats in terms
that
of
was
drama
very
I've ever
exciting.
seen. And also just great driving, to not, have any danger or action there, which, in the men's, we saw a lot of, kind of unfortunate situations with some spins, some crashes, some locked wheels.
It was really kind of a huge contrast between the women's and the men's yesterday, because the women's, outside of one incident,
We had one
was
incident.
clean.
Okay,
And,
Jordan, what's that look like?
Well, Pica's coming through. They just started their turn into the chute. looking pretty clean coming through. It's a pretty good line. Yeah, no real loss of speed going into hill 3. And then we also have in the driver heat, Spirit's buggies coming through cleanly, no issues going into hill 3.
Here they're coming up hill 3. You got Pika Bewell in the lead, and then the driver picking up a decent rollout there for Seraph in the back as well.
And I believe there was some confusion yesterday with Pika B. They thought
Yeah.
it wasn't their heat, and
Yeah,
they
so-
didn't get their buggy to the line. And we
and-
were calling it wrong because it's actually a different buggy on the line.
Right. So the buggy that there was some confusion. The way the timing worked, it worked out exactly so that there would be. We had a 9-minute delay after the Spirit A incident, but that 9 minutes coincided with the next 9 minutes of the heat. So the buggy that we actually saw on the course was from 2 heats later. It was Azula. I believe it was
From
Azula
Apex.
from Apex was the one that was on the line. So when they backed off the line at the last minute, it's because they learned that they were in the wrong heat as well. So Pika B didn't realize their heat was starting. Apex thought their heat was starting. So there was a lot of confusion in that heat. And so it's nice here, even though Pika B didn't get a chance to re-roll, that they're getting a chance as an exhibition team to roll here.
But it looks like it's mixed.
Is it? You're right. That is a man. That is not a woman. So this was not entirely Pika Women's B, but that was a 250.
Oh, and then here's a Spirit driver pushing, hill 5.
Wow, and she just drove the last race.
5-minute warning. 5 minutes.
This driver heat coming to a close here. Drivers are going to be crossing at about 3:14 or so.
All right, so this next heat that's coming up is going to be between SDC and Sweepstakes. And so if you all don't mind, I am going to vacate the broadcast booth briefly, and I will hopefully rejoin you at the bottom of Hill 1 in about a minute.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Brad. Again, we're in the middle of exhibition heats. See more and more people starting to pack the top of the hill up here. These are alumni or students who necessarily weren't out there on race day, who are out there kind of doing it for the fun of it, for the lulz. These are going to go till 9:25 a.m. When the first women's re-roll is, and then the women's official finals heats are going to be coming after that. Still plenty of space here up at the top of the hill, so come join. It's going to be a beautiful day here. Can't ask for a lot more on a race day than this.
And if you are a spectator, please yield to the course marshals. They are just trying to keep you safe. In the chute, please stay off the bales because the buggies do occasionally go into the bales, so you really don't want to experience that.
Next one we have up, SDC and Sweepstakes. Brian is trying some never-before-done stuff down
I
at
feel
Hill
like
1.
we've tried this, though.
You know, we kind of did. I feel like the lack of preparation maybe will make this better. I feel like we talked about it in the past. And then. So we do actually have rosters for this one too, which is exciting. I just have Sweepstakes, right? Yeah. We do actually have a roster here for the Sweepstakes team. So we'll go ahead and run through that once we hear from Brian. But it's the majority, actually, it looks like, of the Sweepstakes committee, which is great. If they're not already doing enough today, now they're going to go.
Well, you have to remember that the members of Sweepstakes all came from buggy teams. You have to have been on a buggy team in order to serve on Sweepstakes, because otherwise you don't understand what the sport's about. So essentially, especially the Sweepstakes chair and the assistant chair, they've given up time with their teams to do the work of organizing it for everybody else. So this is fun for them to get to experience buggy again.
That's great. And we should be seeing that up here just shortly.
And I think for SDC, this is going to be essentially their men's E team. So I think they had a lot of men's pushers this year, so they couldn't fit everyone in on a roster, but giving everyone a chance to push today. And then I think there's a special appearance from one of the record holders, Ryan Aguirre on Hill 3. Was part of some of the SDC record-breaking teams.
2 minutes.
Do you know what buggy they have, Jordan?
I think they're going to be rolling Vanity.
Okay.
Go ahead and get an intro for the Sweepstakes team. On Hill 1, we're going to be having Willie Clark, who is the assistant chair. On Hill 2, it's Joyce Chen, who is this year's sweepstakes chair. Hill 3, Elise Milligan, the assistant head judge. Hill 4,
turn on the
Hunter
mic.
Rideout,
Turn on the mic.
the
Hello.
head judge. And Hill 5, Andrew Gutierrez,
All
the
right,
design
I'm going to
comp
get as
chair.
close as I can.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
All right, well, I can't
And it
get
looks
too
like we
close.
got Brian there.
Guys, hey, sorry. Hi, Joanne, can you hear me? All right, Joanne is in the Buggy Azula right now. I'm down on lane 2 at the bottom of the hill. I don't know if there's a camera down here. Hi, Joanne, how you feeling in there? Good and warm, she said. We got 1 minute to the heat. Are you ready for this roll? She said yes. I don't know if you can hear her. What's your favorite thing about driving Buggy? The team, and she will scream repeatedly. Just give me one like, ah. That was an ah. All right, thank you very much, Joanne. Good luck in this heat. Be safe, have fun. 30 seconds.
Thank you, Brian, pulling double duty as interviewer and timer there. Joanne Tsai, he was interviewing who is in Azula there, Willie Clark, stretching out for that Hill 1 SDCE team. Going to be going up against them.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
Ooh, and Willie Clark flying off that line right there. He's taking it seriously. He pushed yesterday, didn't he? Sweepstakes flying up there. Everybody's on team sweepstakes. Hearing a lot of people cheering right there. Joyce Chen, your chair this year, going into Hill 2. Nice. Deep shove right there.
Oh, this is going to be close too.
Oh, wow. And might have second exhibition with the pass of the day. We'll see what the SDC driver does right there.
I get the feeling that she already decided not to do that.
To break, yeah. It looks like. Oh.
5 stop sign time. For a sweepstakes heat, that's pretty good.
And they're coming up to the top flag now, so looks like the SDC driver is making sure to stay back, making sure things are safe in this heat. But sweepstakes coming up on the bottom flag. SDC following little lengths behind, but both of them look to be through cleanly, and we'll get to see some action maybe on the back hills, depending on how these pushers pan out. And SDC picking up maybe a little bit coming up into that hill 3.
I'll be honest, the sweepstakes pushing lineup looked a little heavily stacked to the front hills, so I would not be surprised to see SDC win this heat.
And yeah, they've really begun to separate themselves here on Hill 3, this SDCE team. They're taking it very seriously, as SDC does with all things. Transition 3 to 4 there for sweepstakes. SDC building their lead even a little bit more.
4-5 transition there. Sweepstakes Hill 4 looking not too shabby either as they transition into Hill 5.
And SDC a nice healthy lead right there. Some good driving being shown on the course right there. And you know, even with taking a little bit of speed off in the free roll, that's still
That's
pretty
a 239.
239 right there. And that just goes to show the depth of SDC. The sweepstakes not too far behind. Great to see them out there getting a roll in for all those people and all the hard work they do all year long. A lot goes into being a sweepstakes chair.
Sweepstakes was a 245. Not bad.
That's really pretty nice.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes to the next heat coming up.
It's not muted, muted.
Now this is the Fringe alumni.
Yeah. So let me give people out on the course and watching at home a little background on this. So Fringe, again, this is the Fringe 50th anniversary. So there are a ton of alums here. So the original plan was there were going to be 3 different Fringe alum teams on the course. Unfortunately, Fringe B on the men's side yesterday had a bit of an issue. There was an accidental stop flag thrown. The driver saw it, decided not to take the shoot turn, which was a smart thing to do, and she actually used the bridge
To slow down.
to slow down and come to a very controlled stop. Now, watching at the time, it's like, oh man, did she lose steering?
Right.
Something major has happened. It turns out that was planned entirely. It was actually a really smart thing for the driver to do.
Well, and she went straight through the barricade. She
Right.
did not hit the barricade.
Exactly. But unfortunately, because it was a team error that caused the stop flag, and it wasn't someone else doing it, they were disqualified.
Yes.
Or they were not granted a reroll, I
If the
should say.
stop flag would have been thrown by another team,
Yeah.
it would have been a reroll.
Exactly. So Fringe B didn't get a chance to complete their heat. So lane 1 in this Fringe heat,
Fringe B.
instead of being an alumni team, is going to be Fringe Men's B with Blind Faith. Now the lanes 2 and 3 are going to be alumni teams, and we'll give those rosters shortly. But those 2 teams, they will be delaying for a few seconds out of Hill 1 to make sure that they're not interfering with Fringe B, who really wants to
They want
have
their
a roll.
time.
Yeah.
See what time they can get today. That'll be coming up shortly right there. So we do have that roster there, and then it looks like the alumni teams, they're doing a little bit of tag teams on
Yeah, the
some of these hills.
the great thing about exhibitions is, although there are 5 hills on the course, when it's exhibitions, it's more like 8, 10, could go up to like 15. You'll usually split up maybe a hill 1, maybe a hill 4 and 5. Depending on how fast the buggy is, you may get like 3 hill 3 pushers.
Yeah, it looks like they got about 10 on their lane 2 and 9 on their
You want to
lane
read through
3.
the rosters?
Yeah, let's go ahead. This might take a few minutes, so we're going to go ahead and introduce the different squads. First up, in lane 1 is going to be Fringe B. They're going to be pushing Blind Faith. On hill 1 is going to be David Cohen. Hill 2, Dave Singh. Hill 3, Harper Weigel. Hill 4, Adrian Kager. And on hill 5, Todd Spigner. In lane 2, a bunch of Fringe alumni. On hill 1, it's going to be
2
Jai Min
minutes.
Oi.
2
On hill 2,
minutes.
Jacob Brooks and Aubrey. I'm just reading what they wrote. Hill 3, Nikki and the Honorable Sir Bradley Hodge. Hill 4, Barsano and Kincaid Murray. Hill 5, Helen Madison Vera. The driver is Amy, and they will be in blue shift. And finally, in lane 3, some more Fringe alumni. Hill 1, Barnaby and Carlton Chang. Hill 2, Eric Blood. Hill 3, Eli and Taryn. Hill 4, Larry and Grace, which is an alum and his daughter, I guess, going to be doing that tandem push. And then Hill 5, Josh Hickson and Faith. The driver is Tisha in Boson.
Okay, we see him getting out to the line there.
I see there are people out there watching at home who are probably
1
alums
minute.
and maybe even more interested
1
in the 2
minute.
Fringe alumni heats, alumni pushers. From the booth, we'll try to give you the information that we can on those, as well as the Fringe B team.
And great to see, even, just kind of casually glancing at the hills. A lot
got
of
a
Fringe
lot of
people
people
back
today.
this year. Yeah, and already a lot of people here for the races as well. So congratulations, Fringe.
And
Happy
a fun
50th.
And a fun fact I learned from Tom Wood's History of Buggy presentation.
30
Fringe's
seconds.
original name
30
was not actually
seconds.
Fringe. It was the International Club. So Fringe, I believe they're now officially like the Fringe International Club or something like that. But it's but yeah, their original name was not Fringe. So anyone who was in the International Club 50 years ago and didn't know that you were Fringe, this is your warning.
Surprise. And we have Blind Faith coming out onto the course now.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
Again, they're going to let their B team go a little bit ahead just to keep some separation there. David Cohen coming up on that hill one. He is just blasting it there. These guys really want to see what their time could be. They really want to put up a good time here.
Meanwhile, the Lane 3 Fringe alumni team is pulling well ahead of the Lane 2 Fringe alumni team.
Well, the Lane 2 alumni team does have a couple member advantage, so we'll see if the extra pushers is able to help their transition
Okay, and
happen.
Blind Faith is away. So that's the Fringe men's B team. She's already on her way down the
Lane
hill.
3, Boson followed by Blue Shift. They're all away. I do not believe Aubrey ended up pushing Hill 2, so I understand why that was a question mark. I believe that was only
Aubrey?
Jacob Brooks.
And a nice bit of space between all of them. A few really beautiful buggies.
Let's see if we can get a stop sign time for Blind Faith Fringe men's B. I don't think we have our timer going.
Let's see, do not have the timer up right there.
We're currently at about a 104.
Okay, so they probably hit there at about a minute or so.
And we're coming up on the bottom flag for the Fringe B team. No issues today, starting her turn in. Looks very clean, coming through nicely. Little wobble on the turn, but actually was very nice. And we have Boson and Blue Shift following. Nice gap, so probably won't be any passes, but interested to see how the alumni do on the back hills here.
And here we are. Nice pickup right there by their Hill 3. You can tell they're really running this race very intensely, trying to get a good time for themselves, see what they were capable of. The Hill 3 to Hill 3 transition happening there on the back hills. I think they're now 3 to 4.
I want to shout out the name of the second Hill 3 pusher of Blue Shift, the Honorable Sir Bradley Hodge. That is a quality title.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go through a lot to earn a title like that. Taj Spigner, their Hill 5, he's got some speed. Going quickly. I'm not sure, Brian, if you can get eyes on what the finish time might be as he's approaching.
I believe
We got the
we have
timer
clock
back.
We do have the timer back. Okay, perfect.
And I see a very winded Hill 4 second pusher from Boson.
Looks like a 2:21.06 for
That
Fringe B.
A very solid time that would have put them in.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And it looks like there are too many names to tell, but someone missed the push bar there. Glad it was at least in an exhibition, not in a final heat.
There's the 5 to 5.5 transition.
No, I think that would be 5 2/3. Is that Faith or is that
sorry,
Vera?
wrong. Yeah, right, 5 2/3.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to do the math.
And just to get the information out there, that 2:21 time for Fringe B would have put them in 9th place in men's prelims, so they would have qualified
5
with that time
minutes.
for today. So it's
5
unfortunate
minutes.
the incident that happened yesterday. It's kind of ironic that this buggy is named Blind Faith because this buggy has been incredibly unlucky in the Fringe Women's A heat last year. The for Fringe B or for Fringe A Women's yesterday, they had the unfortunate incident with a plastic bag that the wheel caught and stuck during the free roll.
And that was also for Blind Faith.
Yeah. It's just it's ironic that it's ironic that they called it Blind Faith. It's just very, very odd. But yeah, so it's nice that they got to put up a solid time. I'm sure they will be back next year better than ever. And they get to show what they can do. So
Yeah.
it's nice. That's the other nice thing about exhibitions is if something goes wrong during the day, like you get a chance to see those teams compete.
Yeah, and
here.
it's especially nice we get to have these exhibitions.
Yeah. I think next up is going to be an interesting one. It was not originally planned this way, but it ended up this way. We have, for the last however many years, had like a Pika versus Signu grudge match. This year, the BAA put out a call to any alumni who wanted to push. The BAA got a full Pika team. Signu, meanwhile, had their own exhibition that they wanted to do. Due to scheduling and some lane issues, the two kind of got combined and ended up here as a pseudo grudge match between Pika alums and Sig Nu. But I say pseudo because the Sig Nu team isn't necessarily a Sig Nu team. Hill 1 for Sig Nu is their current chairman. I did not quite get his name, but their current chairman is the Hill 1 pusher. Hill 3 is going to be Dwayne Delaney. I believe he is an alum, and they're like all-time great wheelman, from what I've been told. Hill 4 for them is going to be a Sig Nu alum named Shaggy. Hill 5, ironically enough, is going to be a Pika pusher, someone from Pika. But the personal favorite, and the reason I skipped it, is Hill 2, because we are all going to mock incessantly the Hill 2 pusher for the Sig Nu team, because it is none other than the 25th reunion broadcaster extraordinaire alum from Pika named Andrew Bordick. Andy Bordick is going to be the Hill 2 pusher for Sig Nu, which is really,
I feel like it's an inside job or something. He's got.
Yeah, he pulls off his greatest Macho Man Randy Savage impression there. I'm a little torn as to what I expect him to do. Like, he's pushing a Sig Nu buggy. Is he going to try and lift it up and, like, throw it off the course? Is he going to give it a real push?
2 minutes.
Is he going to try and let Pika win? Is he going to try and beat Pika? It's very, very curious. So we all will have our eyes out for what Andy Bordick does as he picks up Connor Hayes and gives him a piggyback ride.
And it appears he is having a lot of fun on his
and
25th
hopefully that did
year.
not just throw out his back.
No.
No, unfortunately, I do not have the Pika alum roster.
Yeah, I did not get that roster, but
I'm sure it is 5 spectacular Pika alums. I'm trying to see if I see any of them. You would think Andy Bordick, who is getting ready on Hill 2, would be talking to the Pika alum that's in Hill 2, but...
Yeah, he says he's going to dust it. He's talking smack. Andy has really abandoned some of his core values here in order to make this heel turn over to the side of Sigma Nu. It's shocking stuff, ladies and gentlemen, that we're witnessing here. I saw him talking friendly with Mark
minute.
Estes.
1 minute.
We got 1 minute here. We have one more exhibition heat following this, which I'm really excited for. Their team's made entirely of faculty from Mellon College of Science and Carnegie Institute of Technology. So engineering versus science.
And some of
faculty
them
deans.
are Buggy alumni, and some of them are not Buggy alumni. So they have never pushed a buggy before.
Some of them are deans. I'm getting word from here. So this is going to be
30
all-out
seconds.
madness, the
30
grudgiest of grudge matches,
seconds.
coming up after this pseudo-grudge match right here between Sigma Nu and Pika with some kind of hybrid teams right there.
And we see Bungarus Crate already on lane 2. We see the Pika alum can't tell what buggy it is. That's the problem when you paint all of your buggies
Exactly.
black. Like, at least thank you for putting the green stripe on Cleona. It makes that one a little easier to detect.
So it's not Cleona.
It could be.
10.
We're not at the best angle.
That's fair.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
Okay, and here they go.
And they are off. The Sig Nu chair doing a surprisingly good job of keeping up there with a Pika alum pusher that looks like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, starting to get a bit of separation right there. We'll see. Does Bordick have what it takes
Bordick
to
is
close
pointing.
the gap?
He's pointing at the Pika buggy.
Okay, the
there he
hill
goes.
one, I think, was Eric Bruner.
Here is the push.
Oh, yeah.
Bordick doing a good job trying to keep up with Pika. He's Pika's away first. Bordick slowing down a little bit at the end, but he gives it a good shove. And then he almost gets run over by the follow truck.
Crate trailing a good bit behind that Pika buggy right there. Bordick just did not have what it takes. His heart was not in it to help his foes.
And it turns out that buggy for Pika is Cleona.
It is Cleona.
We saw the stripe, so you know.
Coming
So
around.
coming up on a stop sign time, about
No
a minute.
time.
It's about
Okay.
a minute. We seem to have lost the clock again briefly, but hopefully we'll get that back. And it looks like Sig Nu was around a 106, 107.
And Cleona coming up on the bottom flag now. through cleanly, a little bit of wobble going on, but nice turn. Should have a good roll up for the alumni, make it a little easier for them. And then Signu not too far behind. Hopefully will be easy hill 3 for some of the alums. Hill 3 is not easy to push.
It rolls up there to that hill 3 for Pike. He's able to capture it pretty well. He's keeping the hand on the push bar, not really using the kind of bump and shove method right there, but a nice shove when he does get it over to hill 4. Hill 4 looks pretty serious right there for Pike.
And there was the transition in the back from, I believe, their wheelman to Shaggy. I believe that name is, that was the name I was told by Mark Estes.
It wasn't him. I got that joke. All right.
That was an interesting 4 to 5 transition from Pike.
Hill 5, though, looking pretty serious. Not who that pusher is, but he has some speed. A little worried maybe about the buggy getting away from him. Closing in on it right there.
Is he going to get? Oh, he
Yeah,
just got it in time.
Just on
He's
the
not
push
going to let
bar
it go
right
again.
there. Yeah, going to come across right there.
With a time of 2:29.22.
Wow.
That's a pretty good time for
That
Pika.
is really nice.
Way to go,
Oh,
Alums.
no.
Oh,
Okay.
Wait, is that Estes?
Estes is
Out of nowhere!
He's not going to catch
Estes is
it.
on the course! Oh, no! Estes is down, but he's back up. Can he catch up to the
And that's
buggy?
it.
No.
That's a DQ.
Oh, Mark Estes.
Estes with the spill. My word.
5-minute
greatest
warning.
moment in the
5
history
minutes.
of buggy exhibitions. Mark Estes face plants nowhere near the finish line on Hill 5.
We hope Mark's okay. He'll be joining us in the booth
I
later.
think he's crossing the finish line.
I hope that means he's okay.
Oh,
We're making fun of, yeah, I see him shaking hands at
Yep.
the finish line. He does appear to be okay.
maybe a little bit of elaboration there. Whew, boy. One more exhibition before we get into the women's races. There's actually one other exhibition between the women's and men's races, which I'm very excited for. The race I was born to call. It's just Hill 5, but it's one of the pierogies from the Pirates versus the Scotty Dog. I don't even think there's a buggy.
I don't think
might
there are
be.
buggies involved. I
they're
think it's just
running.
the mascots.
Yeah.
The pierogi is already down at the chute. I don't know if you saw that in the video
I did
coverage.
see that, yeah. So the pierogi is at the chute. If you ever wanted to get your picture with the pierogi, now's the time. I need to sneak out and get my picture with the pierogi. I need a new Tinder profile pic, so I'll get out of here at some point.
So I do want to give a shout out because we're going to have a special commentator here, Natalie McGuire, who is a CIT.
MCS, come
Wow.
My
on.
bad.
Wow.
I'm sorry. She is, and she's very mad at me now. She is an MCS faculty member. She is a professor here at CMU and a Buggy alum, and our outgoing BAA head rolls reporter. So there are elections for the BAA coming up. Nominations are due, I think, by the end of next week. So if you're interested in being a member of the BAA or being on the board of the BAA, feel free to check out cmubuggy.org and nominate people. Natalie's going to step in, but before she does that, will read off the rosters for the MCS and the CIT faculty teams. But I just want to note, for those of you down here, we do have a special guest starter for this heat. It is Provost Dr. Jim Garrett of CMU. He will be the starter for this race. So hopefully people check him out and go down to Hill 1, say hi. We're very happy that he has agreed to come out and do this. Maybe next year he'll even push. We'll see what happens. But we're very lucky to have him here. So thank you, Provost Garrett, for coming out and enjoying Buggy with us. So I'm going to step out. Natalie will step in. We'll run through the rosters, and we'll go from there.
You could say it's all slow fat alumni, but you could
And we
also
do
say shoe failure.
we do have Estes up here in the booth letting us know he is okay, and he says it was a shoe failure leading to that. But we are coming up here to the battle of the century right here. MCS versus
2
CIT.
minutes.
Applied
2 minutes.
theoretical science engineering. Which one will come up on top? I'm going to go through the rosters real quick, and then we'll get a little bit of a preview here. Excuse me. So first, for the MCS roster, on Hill 1, we have Ken Hovis, the Assistant Dean for Educational Initiatives and Assistant Teaching Professor. Hill 2, Rebecca Dorj, the Dean, I apologize if I mispronounced that, of MCS. Hill 3, Becky Campanaro, a Biology Assistant Department Head for Undergraduate Affairs and Assistant Teaching Professor. Hill 4, Ben Hunt, in Physics, Assistant Professor. And Hill 5A, Maggie Braun, MCS, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Affairs and Associate Teaching Professor. Hill 5B, David Handren, in Math, Associate Director, Undergrad Computational Finance and Associate Teaching Professor. And for the Carnegie Institute of Technology, I believe these are the hills. I'm not sure how it exactly splits. But we have Diana Haidar, Assistant Teaching Professor, Mechanical Engineering. Kurt Larson,
1 minute.
Assistant Dean for
1
Undergraduate
minute.
Studies. Zachary Ulysses, Assistant Professor, Chemical Engineering. Victoria Webster Wood, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Engineering. Sarah Christian, Assistant Teaching Professor, Civil Environmental Engineering. G. Ronald Ripper, the Director of Civil Environmental Engineering Facilities. Brian Belowich, Civil and Environmental Engineering Facility and Lab Engineer. And Conrad Zapanta, Associate Department Head, Teaching
30
Professor in Biomedical Engineering.
seconds.
Who I believe will be
30
pushing his daughter.
Yes, who
as
is
the driver
driving
for that
for
race.
Pika, his daughter Katie.
Thank you for joining us in the booth here. What are your thoughts? What do you know about the prep these teams have been putting in?
I don't know too much about what the CIT team has been doing. Conrad's
Pull your mic a little bit closer to your face. Yeah, that should. Or even if you shift it over on your ear.
set, but
I think so, yeah.
sorry. I don't know too much about what CIT has been doing. Conrad's been very secretive.
10,
Um,
9,
like she
8,
but I do know that
7,
our team is really excited
6,
and that Dr.
5,
Hubbis out here was practicing
4,
at Hill 1 the other day.
3,
So
2,
we'll see if his
1,
practice paid off.
ready, set.
And here it is, engineering versus science.
And the MCS team is pushing CIA's new buggy Aurora, which has a dropping push bar. So we'll see if that comes into play.
And a
Oh no! Oh no!
little bit of a spill from Hill 1. Hovis does the roll, though, and gets back on that. Oh, my. What resiliency right there. And the Hill 1 and 1.5 to 2 happening pretty much at the same time right there. This is going to be interesting going into the free roll. That looks like Ken Larson getting a pretty, Kurt Larson rather, deep push there.
Oh, and the push bar is
Back up.
down with a bounce, so it's about 50% down.
No, it's a new buggy. We don't ask for too much.
Still working out that push bar mechanics, but a pretty solid race, lead right there for the CIT Pika buggy. Coming around that stop sign at a minute 10.
111, yeah.
Not too bad. And coming here into the chute.
And the CIT Pika buggy is coming up on the bottom flag, followed by our MCS CIA buggy. Push bar still hanging out a bit, but our CIT Pika buggy through cleanly going into Hill 3. CIA following behind. We'll see what happens with the push bar here, whether it can get back up.
And here we are going on that back hill
Okay.
pickup.
There it goes. Okay.
The push bar is up and a really nice rollout actually right there for MCS, gaining a little bit of distance right there. CIT does have more pushers on the back hills though, so not sure how that may play out. The 3 to 4 transition happening there as well for MCS, and they're within catch-upable distance. It's really all going to be about the back hills right there.
It looks like
Oh, wow.
catching on. And just to note, David Handren was a placing hurdler at Dartmouth when he was an undergraduate. So we'll have to see what he does at the start of the
And let's see, here we are, 4 and 5, neck and neck. MCS taking a little bit of a lead, and then the handoff goes.
Okay, and that's Conrad Zapanta, so he's pushing his daughter Katie.
And Zapanta,
Handren is taking off.
Handren.
Uh-oh,
Oh,
uh-oh,
he's
uh-oh.
pulling up lane.
Oh no!
And there is a second Hill 5 though. And the transition goes. Maggie Braun, a lot of daylight in front of her. She's got some space in front of Zapanta. It looks like MCS is going to come through, but she has to come across with that push bar. Coming to that finish line, hands on, MCS reigns supreme. Zapanta coming just behind right there, pushing his daughter across in that buggy. Wow.
And we don't know if this is the first driver of a Buggy alumni. We're not sure.
And they're showing that replay real quick there with the barrel roll back in to pick up the buggy. That is unreal.
This is the start of a great rivalry.
That was some good coaching, Natalie.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, it's really a dedicated team. I did not realize quite how competitive the MCS faculty were, but now we know, and we know who the better team is.
The better team, the better field. Science
Until
wins.
next year.
Well, thank you for joining us, Natalie.
Thanks for letting me step in.
Yeah. And that, the final exhibition of the morning. Wow.
And thank you, Natalie, for stepping in there and helping call that race.
And in the past, we've had talks of some of the house fellows in SLICE and the Office of Residential Education have talked about forming a team in the past. They're some of the folks who helped make race day possible. Sounds like maybe they need to get involved in this as well next year.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. A
Yeah.
little bit of faculty versus staff action
Yeah,
right there.
I'd love to see this become its own like exhibition division where the faculty each year battles for some like fake trophy thing.
Yeah,
then
definitely.
Then that building gets to hold the trophy. Dietrich College, my alma mater. If you guys can manage to put together a push team, I think we'd take them down. So try to do that for next year.
I mean, that's part of, like during the races, this all looks very serious and everything, but we have to remember these teams have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there was a year while Brian and I were in, while we were active students here, where the chairman actually proposed a real race like it was originally run.
Yeah.
So you stopped at the bottom of the hill, changed wheels, and then did we change drivers? No, we didn't change drivers.
So there were a few teams that did this. I believe CIA and Pioneers did a very cool. This was 2009. CIA and in fact, this shirt is from 2009. The CIA and Pioneers did a combined exhibition wheel swap thing. They each swapped their own wheels, but then they kept exchanging pushers on the way, so they stopped together and did that sort of thing. I believe KDR did a very, very fast wheel change, like they had the fastest time. But AE Pi put together an elaborate production. We had a whole pit crew. Everyone's wearing orange shirts. There was a stop-go sign like you would see at a NASCAR or IndyCar race. There was a massage involved for me. I was the pusher that year. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So we swapped out wheels. The following year, in 2010, AE Pi was going to do the exact same thing, but add a driver swap. Our chairman at the time, Zach Waldman, could fit inside Kamikaze, and he had rolled one day of rolls just because he'd gotten about 3 rolls in. So we figured, all right, he knows how to drive the back hills. So when we get to the back hills, we'd swap it out. We were all ready to go, but then exhibition got canceled, and we never got a chance to do it. So that was a bummer.
I think now, as we're, not to entirely deviate from
No.
that, but just as we're getting close to the start of the women's seats, we do have a lot of people out here. Might be good if we just take a step back, introduce Buggy, talk through what people here are watching, because there may be some first-time faces out here now. It is a beautiful day. A lot of spectators coming out if you want to just give the kind of Buggy 101 for what people can expect to be seen over these next few races.
Yeah, well, let's do intros first.
Sure.
Because this is probably a crowd of
Very
people
good.
who haven't
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
us talk before.
Very new people. Very good.
5
yeah, no, y'all go
minute
ahead.
Okay.
Who am I?
warning. 5 minutes.
I'm Brian Arsham. I am, as I just said, a Dietrich College alum. Class of 2008, I was. I am AE Pi Buggy Chair from 2007. My title was that guy in 2009. I am currently the Buggy Alumni Association Treasurer. Also one of your commentators for today.
And I'm Erin May. I was CIA's chairman in 2009. I'm an MCS alum, chemistry. And during my time in CIA, I was a pusher, but a bad one, and a push practice driver. So the teams practice at night, push practice, and you always drivers never want to do that. So I have rolled the free roll before in a dropping push bar buggy, but I never rolled a race day. So I was also design comp chair, so I do understand some of the size of sweepstakes as well.
Jordan?
I'm Jordan Kunz. I'm your shoot commentator today. So I was a graduate of Tepper in 2015 and then Heinz College in 2016. I was a pusher for SDC for race days 2012 through 2016, and I was a push captain in 2013 and 2014.
Thank you, Jordan. My name is Will Weiner. I never really did anything with Buggy besides broadcasting. I think this is my 10th year here in the booth. I finally know a couple things about it. So thank you all for letting me keep coming back here. One day, maybe I will do an exhibition and, maybe do a 12th of a hill or something like that. I struggled to get up hill 1 this morning. But thank you all so much. It looks like a lot of you did successfully wake up this morning on the Saturday of Carnival to join us here at the intersection of Frew and Tech Street for the finals of Buggy. Now, what is Buggy, you may ask? It is the ultimate in engineering and relay race in Carnegie Mellon culture. But let's break down what this race is going to look like. Okay,
so there's going to be 5 pushers. There's 2 here. I guess this is Margaret Morrison Street. On Margaret Morrison Tech Street. There's 2 on Tech Street, and the buggy is the baton. So one thing to remember, if you've never seen this sport before, there is a person inside that buggy. We always get that question. So they're going to relay her up to the top of the hill, and then she's going to drive all the way down what we call the free roll. And that free roll basically ends in a sharp right-hand turn that we call the chute.
Right. So then once they go through the chute, you'll see it's the fastest part of the course. They're going max speeds around 35 miles an hour. They'll make that turn. They come up Frew Street. And Frew Street, what we call the back hills, is made up of 3 hills. You've got Hill 3, which is a relatively short one, depending on how fast they're rolling through the chute, but very steep. Hill 4, which is moderately long, moderately steep. And then Hill 5, which is the longest, though it's flat. They will come up to the finish line at the end of Frew and where this broadcast booth is, which is right on the corner of Tech and Frew Streets here in Pittsburgh.
And we'll discuss the finer nuances of the sport. There's lots of ways to DQ. There are lots of different strategies that the teams are employing. We'll try to discuss that with you as the races go on here.
And Jordan, as we mentioned, is down in the chute, so he'll be bringing us the action from there.
So since everyone just brought up DQs, we're less than 3 minutes away from the re-roll for SDCC
less
women's.
Than 2.
So less than 2, sorry. So I do want to quickly run through the DQs and re-rolls that we have today. So from yesterday, Pika C with Wraith, they scratched their heat the day before, so they were DQ'd. Heat 2 from yesterday, Spirit B was DQ'd for interference. At the top of Hill 2, push interference. SDCC is getting the re-roll from that heat.
And to clarify, this is the women's race.
Yes, this is women's races. SDCD, I believe that was
1 minute.
Failed
1
drop, so
minute.
they were DQ'd. Spirit A for women's did not finish. They spun in the chute. And Pika B, the following heat there in Cleona, they scratched as well, so they were DQ'd. So that's the women's DQs. We have the 1 re-roll for SDC women's that's coming up in less than a minute. On the men's side.
Yeah, let me go ahead and get the rosters, and then we can get to men's. So SDCC, they are going to be in lane 1 here, getting that re-roll. On Hill 1 is Kirsten Cassidy. Hill 2, Catherine Zhu. Hill 3, Stephanie Erickson. Hill 4, Zizing Zhang. Hill 5, Sienna Fess. The driver is Zofia Majewski, and they are going to be driving Vanity.
So then, just to quickly, we'll mention the men's DQs right after this race, since we're coming up. We have less than 30 seconds until this race starts, so we'll run through that.
And with this re-roll, correct, this time would count
10,
as essentially their final.
9,
Correct.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? Set.
All right, and here we are, the first official roll of finals right here. SDCC getting their re-roll, trying to get an excellent time. See how they can finish this year. Kirsten Cassidy coming up here on Hill 1. Fans in full throat here. A lot of enthusiasm on this beautiful day out here at Carnegie Mellon University. 1-2 transition right there, going pretty smoothly. Catherine Zhu going to go into that 2.
Okay,
About
and
40
Sophia and
seconds to
Vanity
go.
is away.
About
She's
40
avoiding
seconds
those
to cross.
potholes.
And that one of the major kind of stories of this year, those potholes coming down from Hill 2 into the free roll right there. Drivers having to take unusual lines, and it may be something that's costing teams a couple seconds.
Yes, you can tell it's costing teams a couple seconds because they're kind of wiggling to get in that little space that's between the potholes.
Yeah, it's really, lane 1 is the only lane that really has a moderately clean line through
110
that.
stop sign.
Lanes 2 and 3 in particular, you'll see, I believe Apex actually prefers to come out of lane 3, and you'll see it a little bit later.
And Vanity coming up on the bottom flag, about to begin her turn. Narrowly avoiding the pothole and through cleanly. Great turn. I know yesterday in the men's heats there was a little bit of wobble in the turn, but able to correct today, no such issues.
A lot of good momentum coming up into Hill 3 there.
Good rollout into Hill 3.
It's really nice.
Better rollout than the pusher was expecting. It took her a little while to catch up to it.
Yeah, you don't want to get smoked on Hill 3, but that's happening more and more and more. It's caused some to speculate that eventually there won't be a Hill 3.
Yeah, especially with some of these 18 buggies that you'll see a little bit later. Like you'll get one push and that's about it. So as these buggies get faster and you know, better wheels, more aerodynamic, whatever it is, warmer weather, they're rolling out even better than they ever have.
It's not as windy as yesterday, which is good.
No windy, hopefully no debris.
And the sun is out. It's warming up a little bit too. So we're looking at a very, very pleasant finals day today.
Nice 4-5 transition there.
And here we are. This is Hill 5. This re-roll heat here on the women's finals, race day 2019.
Did they get a time yesterday,
They did.
or did they stop?
Yesterday they were about a 2:57.
Okay.
And here we are coming in. It looks like they're going to cut some significant time off of that. That's
Yep.
about a 2:50 right there for SDCC.
And that's not surprising because yesterday they tried to pass, but they weren't able to get in front, so they did end up hitting the brakes. That was that, and again, this is a re-roll as a result of that. So it's not surprising that they beat their time yesterday, but the 2:50, a pretty solid time.
Well,
for
this
the
is why
CT.
you re-roll.
Exactly.
And that time would put them in 9th place yesterday, which is a solid top 10 finish.
Nice. Yeah, you want to re-roll because that determines your seating for the next year. So it's always worth a re-roll, especially if one is granted to you.
Yeah, and now just quickly before we start the actual women's finals heats, we started the DQs a little bit late, so I do want to run through the men's DQs and re-rolls. So on the men's side, Siget B and Kraken failed drops, so they were disqualified. I believe that was the main. They were in second race day contention, but that failure did knock them out and move CIAC into the 10th spot. We had a few did not finish the races. SDC D in Avarice crashed in the chute. Fringe B in Blind Faith, as we spoke about before, had an issue with a stop flag and ended up using bailing out on the bridge, not making the chute turn. So that was a did not finish, so they were disqualified. We saw them run in exhibitions earlier. Spirit A in Invisid, they spun out in the chute, so they did not finish. And Pika C, they were DQ'd for contact with CIA B, so they were disqualified. CIA B men's granted a re-roll for that heat.
Which will run before the men's
Yeah,
race.
so that'll be at around 10:50 a little bit later today. And again, as we just mentioned with SDCC, that CIA B re-roll will count as their final time. So it won't bump any of the other 10 that are already scheduled to roll. It'll just be, if they finish top 5, great, they're their 5th place team. If they don't, then this is just their final time.
Looking here, this first official heat right here, we have SDCB.
5 minutes.
Have we run through the heats? for finals
5
yet?
minutes.
No, so this first one here, we have SDCB, Siget B, next up Fringe A, Apex A, then CIAA, Fringe B, Pika A, Sigep A, and then finally SDCA, CIA B.
And an interesting thing to note in the second heat today, as I just mentioned before, the top of Hill 2 is problematic with potholes and some really poor road conditions. So lane 1, is okay. Lane 1, you can do it. Lane 2 and 3 have issues, but different drivers have different preferences for how they go through it. The driver for Apex A, I believe that is Solaris on the women's side, she actually prefers to come out of lane 3. She prefers the angle that she gets through the potholes from there. So you'll notice that Apex A on the women's side in Heat 2 is going to be at a lane 3. I believe the other 4 teams that are not in lane 1 have selected lane 2 to roll in.
This SDC B team came in yesterday at 5th place with a 2:41.85. SIGEP B about 10 seconds slower, qualifying in 10th at 2:51.45. One thing with these heats, right, trying to keep them separated so there's not any buggies that are too close to one another.
Yeah, and the way, for those of you who are a little familiar with Buggy but not intimately familiar with it, the way heats work is a little different between preliminaries and finals. For the preliminaries, the way heat selection is done is the teams basically choose what heat they want to be in. The order in which they choose has to do with the times that they finished over the past 3 years. But usually the top teams will choose lane 1 towards the end of the day, and you'll get progressively earlier, and then you'll go into lane 2, etc. The way final heats are done, it's strictly based on day 1 times. So the winning team from day 1 is lane 1 of the last heat, and then it works backwards. So it essentially goes in lane 1 you'll have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and to keep times a little separate, in lane 2 you'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So the first heat today, SDC B and SIGEP B, is going to be the 5th place team from day 1 versus the 10th place team from day 1. There are a couple of exceptions to that this year. I don't remember exactly offhand which teams it was, but a couple, both on the men's and the women's side. In lane 2, 2 teams have swapped. That is for safety concerns. The Hill 1 times were a little similar, so to give a little bit of spacing, they have swapped. It's pretty much one heat. I believe it was SIGEP A and Fringe B on the women's side, I believe, were the 2 that swapped.
And I believe they'll also make a swap in the event that it's a team racing against themselves.
2 minutes.
That, it depends on the year.
They can negotiate for that.
Yes, this sweepstakes was pretty adamant this year that teams that safety reasons were the only reasonable, were the only reason that they would grant a request to switch heats. Which has been in the past as well. But yeah, there are sometimes exceptions made. I don't believe any were made this year. It was only for safety.
And when you have 2 teams from the same organization going in the same heat, it's a testament to both their pushers and their mechanics being able to get that set up to race both your teams at once, or even if you have to go back-to-back heats, is very difficult. So testament to all the teams that are able to do that and roll out good times on day 2.
And so let's go ahead and take a look at these 2 rosters coming up. One thing that's interesting, SDCB, about 5 seconds slower than last year was their time yesterday. So they might be able to pick up some time, really put some excitement out there. But let's go ahead and run through the rosters real quick. In lane 2, we are going to have SIGEP B. Hill 1 is Hera Meow. Hill 2, Arabella Reese. Hill 3, Miranda Minchek. Hill 4, Alicia Mayor. Hill 5, Eileen Yu. And the driver, Haiwen Liu in Kraken. Those are all their freshman year pictures. And in lane 1, SDCB. Hill 1, Bridget Sedurna. Hill 2, Shannon Finnerty. Hill 3, Sophia Angel. Hill 4, Virginia Fulton. Hill 5, Allie Karen. And the driver, Elaine Oyang in Vice.
We see both buggies out. They're hovering them over the ground because their wheels are warm. They don't want to put them down. They have to put them down with 5 seconds to go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set,
And here we are, both teams off right here. The first full heat of this women's finals race day.
SDCB looks slightly ahead. Siget B keeping up, which is pretty impressive for that team.
We'll take a look. You see a lot of the SDC team jogging behind their squad. 1-2 transition happens right there for SDC. Just a second later maybe for Siget, but SDC looks to have a couple buggies length advantage, growing larger here with their Hill 2. Now she's going to go past that crosswalk, shove it down there. Siget B a little stronger of a shove right there in Hill 2, but some wobbliness with the potholes.
SDC took the outside of the potholes, and Siget did go through some of the potholes to get closer to the line quicker.
And SDCB put up about a 23-second time there, which, as we watch this, I will try and find what they did yesterday.
And this is one of those things where you think with Vice probably going to get a bit of separation right there.
106 to the stop sign. 109 for Siget B.
Siget B, it'll be interesting to see how they time out versus SDCC.
And they both passed the top flag. Vice is about to come up on its bottom flag. Still some good length between both of the buggies. Vice, narrowly just missing the potholes. Siget, not as lucky, clipped it a little bit, but both are through cleanly. This should be interesting on the back hills. We'll see how this goes.
Vice, a couple seconds ahead. This Hill 3 pickup going to be oh so important right there. SDCB able to get it in stride there, maybe a little bit of a pause. Siget B trying to keep that momentum.
And I'll tell you what, the Kraken driver, I think thought that she was going to gain a lot on SDC because she went a little wide on Hill 3. I think she thought she was getting close to the SDCB buggy, and the pusher for Siget was not necessarily expecting that, and I think that threw the timing of the pickup off a little bit.
Virginia Fulton right here, Hill 4 for SDCB, keeping some of that separation right there. But Alicia Meyer there for Siget trying to pick up some ground. It doesn't necessarily look like it's going to happen, though. That 4-5 transition happening right here for SDCB. Siget several seconds behind them right there. Good work by these pushers on the back hill for SDCB. Trying to get a sub 240 time right here, somewhere in the 230s as they begin to approach the finish line. Again, hand must be on the push bar as they cross.
241.85, and I think they're going to do it.
Got that overhead, and
yep, just a little bit.
241.60, just barely beating their time from yesterday, cutting about a quarter of a second off there. Siget B still coming through. They're going to get a 250.26.
So they also cut about a second off their time.
Yeah. And that, just comparing it to SDCC, who did get that re-roll earlier, they got a 250.22. So they're going to finish slightly ahead of Siget. Probably towards the bottom of the leaderboard, but one of those things to, feel good about yourself as a C team. Actually, one thing maybe we should get into is, the trophies. What are the places? What are the different kind of prizes here for the finishers?
Yes, if we know that. I believe that...
As you know, we were on the winningest teams.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so the most important awards to me are Chairman's Choice and Spirit of Buggy, because those are the ones that I can win.
And the T-shirt award.
And the T-shirt
Don't forget
award,
about that.
The T-shirt award. So for the races, a few years back, women's races. This is actually, I should throw this out there. This is the 40th anniversary of the first women's race. So women's racing has happened for 40 years now. This is the 99th race day overall. So we went almost 60 years with men only.
SDCB is past drops. Just keeping an eye on that for you.
But so this is the 40th year of women's racing. But it was really only a few years ago that the number of women's teams became roughly the same as the number of men's.
Or they were allowed to have the same number of teams.
Yeah.
The original bylaws stated that there could only be two, an A and a B team for women's.
Yeah, and then that changed for the better. We are now in a point where some of these teams are throwing out D teams, and this year I believe we had 28 men's teams and 24 women's teams competing. As a result, over the last few years, we have expanded the women's finals to 10 teams. It used to be only 6. Men's have had 10 teams for a while now. The way the trophies work for each of these, I believe it is the top 6 teams from each organization can win a trophy. So obviously the biggest trophy goes to the winning team.
And
but
the biggest trophy passes from team from year to year.
Yeah, so the biggest trophy is a traveling trophy. So they get to hold on to it for 1 year, or in SDC's case, on the men's side, 7 years, and on the women's side, currently 2, although most of the last
5 minutes.
but then after that, they will get a plaque to commemorate their win as they pass it on to the next team the following year. But 2 through 6 get a real trophy that they get to hang on forever. In my mind, that almost makes second place better than first, because you can always point to that trophy. First place, you only get it for a year.
Do you get your name engraved or anything?
Yeah,
Stanley Cup?
it's engraved on them.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome. That's great.
Yeah, and so then the winning team, they all get medals. All the pushers and the driver all get medals. And then there's also King of the Hill, Queen of the Hill, which is the top, the fastest man and the fastest woman to the top of Hill 1.
Which at the moment, after 1 heat on the women's side, the leader for Queen of the Hill is, and this is unofficial times because this is just a stopwatch that I'm trying to use for the first time, is SDCB with a 23. I had 23.19, which is about half a second faster than they pushed Hill 1 yesterday.
And mentioning SDC, right, 2-time reigning defending champs, they qualified in top place yesterday. Pika A just behind them, CIA slightly behind them, but it's going to be pretty tight at top of that leaderboard, especially for that second place race, and how that jockeys. And this Fringe A team, who we're going to see in this next heat, did not have necessarily their best role out there, so they may be able to cut a couple seconds and be pretty competitive as well.
Yeah, they're the ones that they picked up a plastic bag on the way down.
Yeah,
Right.
so Fringe A has to be the unluckiest team that I've ever seen on this course, because the likelihood, if you haven't watched it, you should go back and watch yesterday's race. The likelihood of them rolling down the free roll, catching a gust of wind that pushes a plastic bag underneath the buggy that gets caught in the wheel and sticks for the rest of the race, it is so unlikely. I mean, you probably have a better chance of winning the lottery than that happening. But it happened. It happened for them. They still managed to put up a 4th place time on day 1. We expect them to do significantly better today than they did yesterday, and definitely compete, if not for a top slot, then a top 2 slot. With that said, I made my hot take prediction yesterday that Pika A was going to beat SDCA. My understanding is that SDCA took that to heart and to mess with me, pushed harder and faster than they expected to. They will probably do that again today and destroy my prediction. But I'm going to stand by it. Pika A going to win women's.
Yeah, SDCA about 6 seconds faster than Pika A. Just to look at yesterday's leaderboard, SDCA was at a 2:28.31, Pika A at 2:34.75, CIAA at 2:34.97, and then Fringe A 2:41.55. But that's really kind of a wild card right there.
And Pika was a little bit slower, so we have some speed trap times to measure how fast they're going in the free roll. And Pika A for the men's was right up there with the top teams yesterday, but for the women's, it was a little bit slower than I would have expected. So maybe they'll be shaving some time off and creating some separation from CIA and Fringe A today.
So to be seen.
In this last heat, talking about the speed trap, they actually came through at about the same speed. So SDCB was at a 34.28 miles per hour, and SIGEP B was 34.33 miles per hour.
And possibly that wide line is what hurt them there. So let's go ahead and introduce the 2 teams. We have Apex A. They're going to be going actually out in lane 3. On Hill 1, they have Katie Warren. Hill 2, Isabel Magdaleno. Hill 3, Emma Nicholas Morris. Hill 4, Claire Wang. And Hill 5, Francis Moore. Their driver, Bethany Bauer. And the buggy, Solaris. And in lane 1, Fringe A trying to make up a lot of time. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? They hopefully do not today. In Hill 1, Lily Wang. Hill 2, Helen Chang. Hill 3, Amy Chen. Hill 4, Maddie Long. And Hill 5, Seema Kamath. The driver is Sarah Connor, and they are going to be in blind faith.
And I see a question here on the Buggy alumni chat, and I was not paying attention, so I don't know the answer. Did SIGEP beat pass drops there? Was anyone paying attention?
30
They cheered, so I
seconds.
believe they did.
Yes. So we have no proof of that. We can't confirm
Everybody
that,
went, woo! So
But yes, it does appear that Kraken did successfully pass drops.
We're
Blind Faith is out to the line. Solaris is on her way.
Jogging with a buggy, that's impressive. It's hard to do while you're holding it.
Blind Faith, their new build this year, yes?
As is Solaris.
Yep.
This is two
10,
buggies.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
And here we are. They are off. Fringe A trying to shave some time after their plastic bag incident yesterday. Apex A looking to play spoiler. Both teams pretty even up Hill 1 with Fringe A starting to create some separation right there.
Yeah, it looks like Fringe A is pulling ahead a little bit here.
Showing their status as a veteran organization. This is the 50th anniversary of Fringe. Trying to bring home some trophies as well for the party later tonight. Shoving over Hill 1 to Hill 2. Helen Cheng really grabbing onto that push bar and then a strong shove in between the potholes.
Yep.
Nice line being taken there.
Nice line.
And it looks like about 34.5 seconds or so to the crosswalk.
And you
there.
can see the difference in those lines. Apex tries to miss all the potholes by staying in lane 3.
Yeah.
Blind Faith
Watching out for
cruising
deli
pretty
bags.
nicely right there. The wind definitely less today. The sun out, shining. Beautiful day for Buggy. Nothing prettier than a Buggy just flying through the free roll like
For
that.
Fringe A, a 104 to the stop sign.
Zooming into the chute.
And Fringe A just passed the top flag, maintaining some great speed. That was a good stop sign time up with the top teams from yesterday. Beginning their turn into the chute, very smooth, maintaining great speed. I expect a really good roll-up coming up on Hill 3. And then Apex just passing the bottom flag, managing to dodge the pothole as they make their turn, very smooth.
And here we go. Amy Chen looking to catch this Buggy here on Hill 3. Catching it pretty nicely in stride. 1, 2, 3, 4 bumps right there. And a final shove for the transition to Hill 4.
And Apex just a little bit behind, coming up on the 3-4 transition now.
This is where we can tell some of the Fringe pushing strength, creating some separation there. We saw the Buggies relatively close coming out of there. Hill 4, Maddie Long really trucking through there, getting ready to hand it off to Hill 5, Seema Kamoth. The transition happening right at about 2:11 right here. This final Hill 5.
And Seema is flying. Look at her.
She is really going right there. Has to make sure she doesn't let that Buggy go away from her. But you can see a really nice technique right there, maintaining some close distance, giving it a good push. And she's cruising in towards that finish line. We just crossed
They're
over
looking
the
to beat at
2:30 mark.
2:41.55, and I think they're going to do it.
Let's see. Hand on the push bar.
2:36.52.
2:36.52.
5 seconds faster. Apex is looking to beat at 2:51.
Well, let's see.
Oh, it's going to be
Gonna
close.
be real close. 2:52.06.
A little
so
bit
it's
slower than yesterday.
slight bit of regression right there on Apex's side right there. But it's nice to see Fringe really shave off quite a few seconds right there. Put them into the top spot.
Yeah, it's nice to see Blind Faith get you know, a
Clean
real,
roll.
a
Yeah.
clean roll through the day, get a real time up there. It's great to see.
And so that still will put them a couple seconds behind what we saw from CIA and Pika yesterday, but a really nice improvement to be seen from Fringe there. Beautiful looking Buggy, and we're going to go ahead and have the drop tests up here.
So for people who are unfamiliar with this sport, this is just testing that the brakes are functional after a race. So you're going to see she's going to roll down this hill real slowly. And then when she passes that flag, she has to be able to hit the brakes and stop within a certain distance. And she did. And now she releases and she brakes again. And so that shows that the brakes are fully functional. And so that is a passed test.
Very nicely done by Fringe A there. Again, Fringe A finishing in first place there. So they are right now on top of our leaderboard with 3 heats remaining. They had a 2:36.26 in second place. SDCB at 2:41.39. Siget B 2:49.94. Just ahead of SDCC at 2:50.22. and Apex A at 251.76.
And Apex A just passed their drop test.
And I do want to note, we just got word that after the 5th women's heat, but before Robo Buggy takes their role, we will have at least one women's re-roll. We're getting confirmation on what team it is and what was involved, but there will be at least one women's re-roll, so I believe at least one of these times may not be set in stone.
Okay.
Interesting. Was there anything you had seen there that would
I didn't
lead you to think
see
there would be
anything
re-roll?
of note, but there's things you can miss. There might be if a team isn't adequately informed of the time before they go to the line,
minutes.
they might not
5
have done
minutes.
the prep that they wanted to do. It can really be anything. I hope we hear what that might be.
So we'll keep an ear out for that. Coming up next here in this third heat, man, we are just cruising through these heats. We are going to be having CIA A and SIG Ep A. CIA A just a quarter of a second behind second place Pica right here. And this is going to be one of those times really kind of battling for that second place, we're thinking here.
And one of my favorite things about finals is it's really a chance to see two A teams go up against each other. You don't always get that. Every once in a while you get a slower A team versus a faster A team in prelims. But on finals, it's based on the day one time. So, if SIG Ep A maybe rolled a little bit slower, something was going wrong with the buggy, or like what happened with Fringe, anything can happen on day one. It puts you in a heat. CIAA and SIG Ep A could be pretty close. I know a lot of people thought SIG Ep A was a dark horse contender this year. Barracuda is not their new buggy.
Rebuilt.
Their rebuilt buggy. They rebuilt it this year with a beautiful paint job. So shout out to SIG Ep for both this paint job and Beyonce, which has been impressive for years. But yeah, so it'll be good to see, and we'll see what happens here. But this should be a good heat.
Yeah, CIAA posted a 234.97. SIG Ep A at 245.26, so about a 10-second differential there. Not sure exactly how their top hills might compare, but if we look at their top speeds, CIAA actually had the fastest speed in the free rolls yesterday at 35.72 miles an hour. SIG Ep A about a mile an hour and a half slower at 34.33. Also, something that's always fun to point out, right? The posted speed limit down there in the free roll area is 25 miles an hour. So these buggies are going faster than cars are supposed to in that area by a significant amount.
Okay, and we do have an update on the women's re-roll that will be taking place after Heat 5, and this is an interesting one. The first heat today, SDC B and SIG Ep B, will be re-rolling. The heat itself will be re-rolling due to a false start by SIG Ep B. My understanding at the moment is that neither team is disqualified, but they will be re-rolling as a heat. What makes this interesting is that Heat 5 is SDC A, and it means that SDC A and SDC B will be rolling back-to-back. Now, obviously, from an SDC standpoint, you're probably more focused on A because that is your chance to win it all. SDC B, definitely in title contention, but you have to think that SDC A to the team is probably... they'll be focusing all their energy on A. It's a question of whether B. It may also come down to the times because maybe they decide they don't need the roll.
A same-day re-roll is risky.
Yeah,
You've already run once.
Right,
yeah.
and pretty tiring as well, right? Not a lot of time in between.
So we've got under 2 minutes, I believe, to the CIAA and SIG Ep A heat.
Yep. Let's go ahead and introduce these rosters then. First up is SIG Ep in lane 2. On hill 1, we have Ellie Wallstad. Hill 2, Victoria Feng. Hill 3, Jamie Slumka. Hill 4, Jocelyn Chan. And Hill 5, Julia Adams. The driver, Sophie Halpern in Barracuda. And in lane 1, we have CIAA. On hill 1, Andrea Sipos. Hill 2, Hannah Linus. Hill 3, Tori
1
Simplicus.
minute.
Hill 4,
1
Lindy Cornwall. And Hill 5, Lydia Zing. The driver, Rachel Motz. And they will be in Emperor.
And as a note here, the SIG Ep A driver, Sophie Halpern, is actually the SIG Ep buggy chair. This is the first time ever, I believe ever for any fraternity, that a woman is the buggy chair. But she is very capable, a very good chairman
30
for them.
seconds.
And not only, I believe she was head driver last year, she's chairman this year, and she is driving their 18 buggy in Barracuda, which put up some solid times yesterday.
That is just a great paint job.
It really is.
Both teams keeping their buggies off the ground.
Finals rosters. So any change, it'll show the previous, what they did yesterday.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
All right, and here we are off SIG FA, CIAA. CIA looking to be one of the top teams today, maybe cut a couple seconds off from yesterday. CIA beginning to pull away a little bit here on this hill one.
This is closer than you'd expect, I think.
SIG really pushing hard on that hill one. They get the 1-2 transition.
Here's Hannah Linus. This is her 5th year pushing, and she is pulling away fast. Hope she gets the shove in before the top of the hill ends. There she goes.
Good shove there by CIA. SIG a little farther behind. I think that hill 2 for CIA really kind of separated them a bit.
And that's some of that veteran power for Hannah Linus, a champion a couple years ago.
Yes.
Looking to get a taste of victory once again. CIAA going smoothly through that free roll. Emperor looking really nice there, but Barracuda trying to stay in the same frame.
About a 102 to the stop sign for CIAA.
About a 106 for SIG FA.
At 102 would be the fastest of the day, and we see Emperor now coming past the top flag, getting ready into the bottom flag. Good space between CIA and SIG on this. Emperor coming through smoothly, great turn, really no loss of speed coming in there for them. SIG coming in through also very cleanly. I'm expecting some great rollouts from both teams on Hill 3.
CIA as an organization is really good at not losing speed in the shoot. Their shoot turns are probably some of the best out on the course.
We spend a lot of time on that. As a chairman, I spend a lot of time on that. I know they still spend a lot of time on discussing that line with their driver.
A really nice deep pickup right there for CIA. SIG though, closing a little bit of ground right here. We'll see what the Hill 4s and 5s can do right there. Lindy Cornwall, the Hill 4 for CIA.
Their Hill 4 she's pulling away.
She's getting some real nice separation there.
It's the 4-5 transition for CIA.
Lydia Zing now.
This will be interesting to see compared to yesterday. I mean, I don't know exactly what their time's going to be, but it's looking around that. I'd expect like a 2:35-ish here, maybe.
Let's see her clock.
Maybe it'll be a little bit better. She's pushing Hill 5 pretty well.
Yeah, coming across, charging towards that finish line, trying to shave those precious few seconds. Hand on the push bar, 234.09
for CIAA.
I believe that's a slight improvement on yesterday.
Yep, and it looks like SIG coming at 239.
The clock stopped a little bit early there, so I'm not sure exactly what that time was on SIG
we'll wait to get the official times, but yesterday they were at 234.97, so shaving almost a second off. So that puts some pressure on Pika as well to try and cut a little bit of time off. CIAA pending drop test and official timing going to be comfortably moving into that top spot and setting the bar for Pika. They were about a quarter of a second behind Pike yesterday, and then that's going to put some pressure on Pike to cut some time off. But it is clear out, it's sunny out, a little bit of practice, from yesterday, so we'll see. Looking good there on that drop test.
CIAA Emperor has passed drops easily.
And then we'll see if Barracuda does the same.
And we're getting more and more people out on the course, so please listen to the course marshals.
Yes, and please stay off the roads. Keep in mind the lead truck and the follow truck need to stay out of the ways of the buggies. I believe they are currently backing down Hill 2 and Hill 1, so please stay off the roads if you're on the roads.
And you're listening here on WRCT Pittsburgh 88.3, or possibly tuning in at CMU TV. Want to thank CMU Buggy Alumni Association for helping make this all happen here. We have the official timing for CIAA, and it's actually a little bit faster than we had initially said, so this is interesting. It's actually a 2:33.87, so they cut off over a second from their time yesterday, so that's definitely going to be putting some pressure on Pica, trying to see if they can capture that number 2 spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Sagap did just pass drops as well.
Very good. I know they had a...
And it also puts a little pressure on SDC. You know, obviously everyone expects SDC to win. Everyone expects a sub-2:30 time, but you have to do things cleanly to do that. Like, one screw-up could cost them several seconds, and that could make this a much closer race.
Yeah, maybe some CIA, some Pica people are going to start, dropping
5
some plastic
minutes.
bags out there trying to
5 minutes.
Good sportsmanship is valued.
Sportsmanship is important. No, honestly, and that is something we actually has been a theme we've talked about is the decrease of secrecy within Buggy and a little more kind of a collaborative community. You know, a lot of it led by, kind of this Apex movement, shout out Apex there, in terms of, really pretty much broadcasting everything they do and just trying to share this sport and kind of this new open model. And also, stuff we see in the exhibitions earlier with some of these, driver heats, all the different teams collaborating. It's, if nothing else, Buggy is one of the most, wonderful, beautiful illustrations of community at Carnegie Mellon here. It's intense on race day, but, you get in the booth here, you get all these people from all these different teams. It's kind of a nice uniting event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and it's funny when you get out in the world and you meet somebody who might have done Buggy but wasn't at CMU the same time you were, and you immediately have things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
It's a conversation starter. I know it's helped numerous people in interviews for jobs.
Yeah, I know. At my office, I have a couple of photos from Buggy just up on my wall, and a guy was walking past my office one day, and he said, "Hey, is that Shenley Park? Is that Pittsburgh?" It's like, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I went to CMU too. I'm like, oh really? This is Buggy. It's like, oh yeah, I used to be involved in that. Oh, that's great.
That's wild. Truly a uniter. And thank all of you for coming out or tuning in here. Just a beautiful, beautiful day. We have a couple more heats coming up here on the women's side, and then another re-roll. This one is going to be Pica A and Fringe B. Now, this is going to be an interesting one, right? Pica A came in qualifying in second place right there. And then CIA cut some time off. We're going to see if they're able to cut some time off. Brian had his hot take that, Pica women may come out here victorious.
It's going to happen.
They're holding the first place spot on the men's side. Would be pretty unexpected and spectacular to see Pica take first place on both sides. So they're going to be out here. They're going to be pushing hard. What do we expect to see from them here in this race?
For Pica A?
Yeah.
I would expect them to put up a solid time. I think there were things yesterday that they did that they could clean up a little bit. I think they can push a little bit faster. I think the Buggy is
generally day 2 push times are faster than day 1.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily want to go all out. You don't want to leave everything on the course on day 1 because you're just coming back tomorrow. Especially when you have a weather forecast like today where it was expected to be sunny. There was no issue of a rain. There's going to be a second day. It's sometimes you're not going to save everything because you don't want to risk missing out. But usually you'll see an increase.
Fun fact, maybe it's fun. CIAA, they cut a second off their time, but they lost about 1 mile an hour
in the
on
free roll.
their free roll speed. But let's go ahead and introduce these two squads here. First, in lane 2, we have Fringe B, the 50th anniversary of Fringe, and their B team out there. On Hill 1, Ashton Jones. Hill 2, Cora Haycock. Some Cora Haycock fans in the house, apparently. Hill 3, Emila Sapico. Hill 4, Marissa Moscow. And Hill 5, Hannah Mahone. The driver is Amy Chen in blue shift. And in lane 1, Pica A. On Hill 1, Emily Archer. Hill 2, Megan
1
Jade.
minute.
Hill
1
3,
minute.
Erica Foos. Hill 4, Dominique Pitak. And Hill 5, Laurel Perea. The driver, Victoria Van Benschoten, and she will be in Banshee.
And Banshee has been a solid buggy for Pika for years. It's been running as their A team.
Yep, built in 2013.
Yep. And it's possible it's run A ever since.
Not sure.
30 seconds.
But this year, Pika built a new buggy this year, Wraith. I don't know if we
I don't
saw it
think
once. We saw
we did?
the men's C team, I believe, was Wraith.
I think it was the C yesterday, yeah.
But that was the only time it's been on the course so far, and I don't believe we'll see it today.
Here we are, both buggies out on the course. Pika A looking to take over the top spot. The time to beat 233.87 from
10,
CIAA. Can
9,
Pike pull it off?
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
And they are off.
Here we go. Pika A looking to assert some dominance early. Trying to get some separation from that fringe B team. Chasing CIA, chasing SDC, looking for glory, looking for a trophy.
And I don't see a clock at the moment.
Emily Archer able to make that transition over to Megan Jade.
That was around a 21-5-ish hill one, it looked like.
Megan Jade, her third year as a pusher. Real strong shove there down into Hill 2.
And around a 33.5, 34-second crosswalk time.
Fringe down there as well into the free roll. We'll see if Banshee able to pull away.
We've got some nice separation between the buggies. There shouldn't be any interference with the chute.
Well spaced here. Nothing more beautiful than a buggy flying down the hill right there, coming up towards that stop sign.
At about a 102, 103, somewhere in that range.
And we commented before, but Pika looked a little slower on the women's side than the men's side yesterday. So if they were able to get that speed like they were for the men's A team, then they could put up a really competitive time and maybe get close to a 2:30 or below. And looking good on the chute, no real loss of speed, going to come through cleanly. This could be a very fast time. Fringe following behind, a little bump going through, but through cleanly and on to Hill 3.
A lot of momentum coming there into Hill 3. Erica Foos for Pika, picking up that buggy pretty deep. One bump, two bump,
And she's in
and a
the,
third right there.
there she goes.
Fourth to shove in that transition. Pretty ideal Hill 3 for them there. Dominique Pitak now on the Hill 4 for Pika A. Trying to challenge for that top spot from CIA. Just gliding here, Hill 4.
Comes up the 4-5 transition for Pika A.
Shoving over to Laurel Perea right there. Really nice push there from Hill 4. Ton of momentum going for Laurel there on Hill 5.
We're about at 2:15 right now, it looks like.
Comes Sprint into the 4-5 transition.
And Hill 5 just flying right there for Pika A.
This is looking like it might be a really good time. She's getting close to the 2:30 mark.
Let's see
We
right
got
there. Hand on the push bar coming across the finish line right
It
there.
is unclear. The clock stopped. The clock stopped at a 2:26.93, but that was before the buggy had crossed the line. So it's probably around a 2:29, 2:30. I'm thinking.
It looked like a 2:31 on my hand time, but that's just from my perspective.
We'll see Fringe B coming across
Fringe
there.
B looks like maybe a 2:46 or so.
We will get you the time as soon as it is posted here for us. It does look, though, like Pika A able to shave off a few seconds there, somewhere around
Coming in at a 2:31.14.
2:31.14.
For Pika A, so that puts them in the top spot.
That is an excellent time for Pika.
It is not faster than the time that SDCA put up yesterday, though.
It is not, but I still have faith. Until Mary Garrett proves me wrong.
And there's been a number of teams that have been able to shave off quite a few seconds. It's a little warmer out today than it was when the women's teams were going yesterday, so that might have something to do with it. But also the competitive spirit. There was a lot of teams that were close together around the 2-3-4 spot and 4-5-6. So just wanting to separate yourself from the pack can do a lot in day 2.
Looking at the leaderboard as it stands now, and we're looking at the drop test there actually before we get to the leaderboard. Looks like Pike passes with flying colors right there. So they're going to be holding on to the top spot on the leaderboard. Pike A at 231.14. CIA a couple seconds behind him right there at 233.87. Fringe A in third place right now, 236.26. Pardon me. SDCB 241.39, SIGEP A at 242.27, Fringe B in sixth, 245.97. And it looks like we will have the SDCB and SIGEP B teams re-rolling there as well. Again, the top 6 going to be taking home trophies. And besides that re-roll, one heat remains. Your reigning, defending, two-time in a row champion SDCA going to be going up against CIAB. Yesterday, they were able to post a 228.31, so about 3 seconds faster than what Pika just posted. They're able to maintain that. The trophy stays with them, but a whole lot can happen on this race. That's why they roll them. Aaron, what do you think we're going to see from this SDC team knowing that time Pika just posted?
I mean, they're going to be consistent, but with their performance yesterday. But again, we were talking about it. It makes a huge difference when it's warm. You know, the weather was rolling in yesterday. It was cloudy. It was windy. It was cold. And so, you know, and pushers are always faster day 2. So I would expect them. We've seen teams take off a second or two. I think that they will be in that same boat. With the road conditions, it's just, unfortunately, it's not record-setting conditions. So some years that's really exciting, and that's, you know, we get to talk about that. But with the top of Hill 2 being the way it is, and with that pothole in the chute, it's not a major one. Most of the teams are able to avoid it, but it's kind of that hazard that's there, and it's in the driver's mind. You know, she's coming down the hill, and she's like, pothole, 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 pothole. So she needs to stay on her line, and that's especially worrying if you're also thinking about, oh, I don't know where I am in relation to another buggy. So.
Right. So we'll take a look at that. Again, as you mentioned, right, teams really shaving off. And we look at Pike.
And this is pretty consistent for day 2, but it's also consistent for warm weather. So warm, as we mentioned, a lot of these teams are heating up the material on their wheels. So if there is a smaller difference in temperature between their wheels and the road, those wheels are going to stay warmer longer. We're not necessarily seeing that reflected in the speed downhill, because even though CIA was not as fast as yesterday, they are still holding the fastest time or the highest speed in that speed trap.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Emperor in particular, I mean, it holds speed in the free roll better than most buggies, and I think it's because of the larger wheels.
Yes.
So we would expect that they would have, if not the top free roll time and free roll speed.
Yeah, they had the top free roll speed yesterday.
Yeah, so we would expect that could be the highest speed, and the fact that it's a little lower than yesterday is a little surprising.
Yeah, I'm looking up what SDC's was yesterday.
I think they were 35.2, so they were about a half mile an hour.
Yeah, so if they, you know, it's warmed up, we'll see if they put that up again.
And Pika, they cut 3.5 seconds off from yesterday. CIA cutting a whole second off. Fringe, partially due to the plastic bag incident, cutting off 5 seconds from yesterday.
I mean, we immediately saw that and knew that had dramatically impacted the performance, because the driver is also hearing something different. I can guarantee you that made a different noise. Fringe buggies are notoriously quiet, so I'm betting that she definitely noticed that when that occurred.
And I imagine if you're the driver in there and you hear something different like that, you're probably freaking out a little bit.
2 minutes!
I mean, just hearing something unusual. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah,
what has happened?
If you're not worried about being close to another buggy, I'm sure she's like, I wonder what a lot of times drivers will come back and tell their mechanics, I think this is going wrong, or this feels different, or, you know, teams are constantly tweaking. Yep. But in a race, that probably worried her a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and introduce these two teams. The final scheduled heat of women's, we will have one re-roll following this. But here, first off, in lane 2, we have CIAB. On hill 1, Ariel Barnett. Hill 2, Isabel Murdoch. Hill 3, Tina Wu. Hill 4, Emma Reed. And Hill 5, Elim Zhang. The driver, Emily Wong, and she is in Equinox. And in lane 1, the reigning defending two-time champion, SDCA. On hill 1, the 3-time reigning queen of the hill, Mary Garrett. Hill 2, Jennifer Mayberger. Hill 3, Jennifer Bowe. Hill 4, Michaela Fillier. Hill 5, Olivia Keller. And the driver, Kyoko Hinagawa in Bay.
And Mary Garrett's
30
time,
seconds.
she's the 3-time reigning queen of the hill. Her time on day 1 was clocked at a 19.65. That's almost 2 seconds faster than the second fastest from yesterday, which was CIAA with a 21.3. So that 19.65, I mean, look, that alone probably puts you in first place. Like, if she can do that again, they got a great shot here. If she can beat that, this is her fourth
10,
year. This is
9.
We'll see.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
And here we go, SDCA looking to reclaim the crown. 2:31, the time they need to beat Mary Garrett, flying up hill 1.
And I remembered my stopwatch this time.
Lots of cheering for Mary up here. There's the 1-2 transition.
I said I remember my stopwatch, and then I stopped it too soon, so that didn't work out very well. But it looked around the 19.5 or so again.
I think she's pretty safe as Queen of the Hill.
I think so.
Jennifer Mayberger, nice shove there into hill 2.
And you
Slightly
see,
different lines taken by
exactly.
the 2 buggies.
You again see different lines with one going inside, one going outside.
And Kyoko, the driver here for SDC, her 4th year as well. This is an incredibly veteran roster for them. Tasted a lot of victory here. Their first year driving A team, though, looking to take home a gold in her final year.
Oh,
59.
that was a sub 1 minute stop sign time for
59
SDCA.
seconds.
104 for CIAB.
That's not bad either for a B team.
And Bain is coming up to the bottom flag now. As we said, that was the fastest stop sign time of the day. Beginning her turn, narrowly missing the pothole, but coming through cleanly, maintaining her speed. This could be a really fast time. The CIA following through very cleanly. Standard CAA line, really no loss of speed on that. This could be very interesting on the back hills for both teams, looking at good times.
See Jennifer Bone getting in stride right there. Getting a lot of momentum maintained here through hill 3. 1 bump, 2 bump, 3 bumps. And then a final shove into that 3-4 transition right there. CIA
is nipping at their heels.
Really nice for a B team right there. And
I think they're
SDC's going
hungry
fast.
for a top 6 finish.
Michaela here, her 3rd year in a row.
SDCA here just demonstrating their dominance on the women's side.
That transition going to be coming just past the 2-minute
Yep,
mark.
just past the 2-minute mark. They are flying today.
And Olivia Keller, look at her chug along. She is cruising towards that finish line right there. Going to be trying to put up a really spectacular time here for SDCA.
You know
Looking
what?
to beat a 2:28, and I think she can do it.
This might be a little closer than we think.
Let's see right here, coming up close to that finish line. Hand on the push bar, 2:27.51 right there for SDCA. CIAB now coming here.
Look at this time. This is going to be a 240-ish.
240
They're looking to beat a 2:42, and they're going to do it.
at a
Yep.
240.84 right there for CIAB. Really nice for them. They're cutting a couple seconds off from yesterday.
And just as a reminder, even though that appears to be the last women's final seat, we do have a re-roll coming up next between SDC-B and SIGEP-B. So even though SDC-A is currently in the lead, that is no guarantee that SDC-B or SIGEP-B will not pass them.
And that SDC time, if it stays at a 2:27, would be the 9th fastest time ever for a women's heat.
Wow.
And I do have one other official word of Mary Garrett's Hill 1 time. So, drum roll, please. I believe last year her Queen of the Hill time was about a 20-ish seconds, and I think the year before that was about 19.7. This year, her Hill 1 time, 19.37 seconds. That shaved about half a second off of yesterday and her, I think, best.
And looks like
SDCA pass and drops easily.
passing the drops. So, pending anything crazy, your women's champions this year. Well, we do have the one re-roll.
We do technically have SDC B and Siget B, though if SDC B beats SDC A,
Then they
here,
all get DQ'd.
Yes, that's right.
but yeah, so we'll see. You never know. Something crazy could happen. They could catch a jet stream and put up a 210 or something.
But
it's possible.
Anything
all
below a
that,
223 would be something to talk about.
It would.
assuming the teams hold form, going to be the same leaderboard as last year. SDCA in terms of top three, Pika A, CIA A.
She passed.
Okay.
Really nice job there. Pika and CIA both cutting some time off today. It was really tight yesterday. Pika making a nice improvement over the day prior, just not enough to overcome SDC and that dominance. Mary Garrett, beautiful performance on Hill 1 yet again. And, just a model of consistency in that team. Really nothing too wrong anywhere in that role.
No, and look, SDC is SDC. They're for the decade of the 2010s. If you want to talk about an organization that has figured it out, that knows what they're doing, knows how to train pushers, knows how to train drivers, knows how to build buggies, has a great organizational structure, SDC is like a model of I don't want to say perfection, but it's something to be admired from outside teams because, frankly, this is something that's never been done before.
And we worried a little bit about SDC because, as we've mentioned, their previous record-setting buggy, Malice, is nowhere to be seen. There was a crash this spring. We think Malice is done.
Yes.
As for those watching, these are single-piece carbon fiber construction, basically, and so one bad crash, it really can't be repaired.
Yeah, because the way these things work, once there's a crack in the carbon fiber, it's no
longer considered safe.
You can't just put a patch on top of it and be like, oh, we're good now. Some of the older aluminum buggies, like you could re-weld things. Then you get wheel situations where welds try to hold for 30 years. Shout out to Camo, rest in peace. But you could fix those. Carbon fiber, it's really like once it's done, it's done. There's no coming back
minor
from that.
repairs can be done, but major incidents usually are career-ending for a buggy. And we did worry a bit about that, but I mean, this driver in Bain, she's looking really good, looking solid.
And for those of you worried about the future of SDC, I mean, they still have Inferno as well, and my understanding is that Inferno is fine. They just didn't have a driver who fit it properly this year. So I'm sure next year they'll go out and find one that can, and they'll have last year's winner back on the course.
They have some of the smallest buggies, so they I know that, for example, Malice was built for a particular driver.
Yep.
So when they have a really good driver, they do tend to try and build a buggy.
I think Inferno was built for Annie Black.
Yeah. So, and when they're doing a new build, they might keep that in mind. But you don't know how a new build's going to turn out.
Right, and that's why it's interesting to see. We had Fringe A and Apex A both roll their new builds this year. But a lot of teams are sometimes hesitant to roll their new buggies as their A team because, quite honestly, you don't know what's going to happen on race day. Like, you may think it's a great buggy. It may be rolling great in free rolls, in practices. But until you put it out on race day, you don't know. And if you have a buggy that is a solid buggy that has experience on the course, you know how to treat it properly, you know how to make it work and roll its best on race day, sometimes it's better to play it safe. Throw your new buggy as a B team or a C team for that first year, see how it does compared to what you would expect, and then go from there. Like, look at CIA. They brought out Aurora this year. They're trying that dropping push bar, but they're rolling it as a C team because you never know.
Especially with a dropping push bar buggy.
True. Also, Emperor is a pretty good buggy.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Even at its best, I don't know if Aurora could beat it, but it's nice to see.
We are right now coming up on 2 minutes towards the sole re-roll, I understand, of the women's finals here. SDCB Sig Ep B. I guess there was a false start, which went ahead and allowed for both teams to keep going. Not entirely sure on the particulars of the rule, but here we are. They're going to roll again. This is tough, you know, on the teams going back out and having to do this whole race again.
And it's interesting because SDCB is currently in 6th place, but they're only about a second ahead of SIGEP A. And so the question is, if they're re-rolling here and they lose that second, they may lose a trophy spot. With that said, on the other way, they're about half a second behind CIAB for 5th. So if they gain half a second, they'll pick up a 5th place trophy.
1 minute.
All right, so 1 minute left. Allow me to reintroduce the squads. In lane 2, we have Sig Ep B. Hill 1, Hira, Meow. Hill 2, Arabella Reese. Hill 3, Miranda Minsek. Hill 4, Alicia Mayer. And Hill 5, Eileen Yu. The driver, Haiwen Liu. And in lane 1, SDC.
30
Right?
seconds.
Yes.
SDCB? Okay,
Correct.
cool. It said C on the screen. I got confused. Hill 1, Bridget Sedurna. Hill 2, Shannon Finnerty. Hill 3, Sophia Angel. Hill 4, Virginia Fulton. Hill 5, Allie Karen. The driver, Elaine Oyang in Vice. And I think they have the C team on the
Yes.
screen right there, but it is SDCB who will be up there.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
It appears no false starts this time. The final race of Women's Finals Race Day 2019. SDCB, like the pusher looking behind her, trying to see that separation from SIGEP. Blasting up that hill. They've already run this once, but still a ton of speed, a ton of power, trying to move up in the standings. Transition right there, 1 to 2. SIGEP B not too far behind, but this hill 2, Shannon Finnerty looking to make some separation here, going with the shove into the free roll.
Nice deep shove.
And I'll tell you what, for SDCB, I clocked their Hill 1 when they first ran it at a 23.19. This time I clocked it at a 23.15.
SDCB did clip that other pothole, though, the little pothole
Yeah.
down below. So
So they may lose some speed, but at the very least on the pusher side, you know, and talking about getting tired, you know, about re-rolling again, they may have had enough rest between when they rolled earlier today in the first heat and this re-roll now.
at least
that
they were
later.
the first heat.
Yeah. So 106 stop sign time there for SDC and a 108, 109 for SIGEP B.
And SDC passing the top flag now with SIGEP not too far behind. Both coming in with some good speed. SDC taking that bottom flag, going into the turn. Oh, fighting it a little bit of a skid, but through cleanly. Managed to get back in. Kraken coming through as well. Good shoot line for both of them. We'll see how the rollouts go on Hill 3.
Here we go, coming up into that hill 3 there. CIAB trying to best their time of a
SDCB.
2:40 excuse me, SDCB trying to best their previous time.
It was a very nice pickup there by SDCB and SIGEP B as well.
SDCB's in the 3-4 transition.
And it does not look like they're going to have the time to beat the A team. So it looks like SDCA may be safely in first. But again, we're looking at that. They're SDCB currently in 6th place.
Top 6 gets a trophy.
Top 6 gets a trophy, but they're only a second. They were only a second away from 7th. They were only a second away from 5th. So this could be just about anything as they transition in at about the 2:15 mark into the Hill 5.
And Hill 5, Allie Karen right here, trying to secure another trophy for this SDC squad. SDCB here. Allie Karen coming up towards that finish line.
And again, we're looking at a 2:42. Gets them into final. Gets them into a trophy spot.
And they're going to cross right there at a 240.78.
Well, this is going to, the official time is going to be very important here because CIAB, as SIGEP B crosses at 250 and 46, CIAB was in 5th with a 240.63.
Okay.
The unofficial time there, it could be,
They could have edged them out.
We're seeing a 240.56 on the screen, and that is official. It is a 240.56. SDCB moves into 5th by 0.07 seconds. That's 7/100ths of a second ahead of CIAB, who falls to 6th.
All that pending the drop test, but tough right there for CIAB, and that's why you re-roll it if you're SDCB right there.
Absolutely.
Nice stuff by their team, cutting off those few fractions of a second.
It's really hundredths of a second that they moved up, but that was enough to move up a place.
And it's not slower.
No, exactly.
So as we mentioned, if you do re-roll, the risk is that your second time stays.
Exactly.
So if they had been slower, that would be their new finals time.
And looking good here in the drop test. Oh, go ahead, Jordan.
And that's impressive because for both of SDCB's rolls this morning, it was right after SDC had to have a heat for one of their teams right beforehand. So kudos to the mechanics to be able to get that team ready to roll twice today immediately after one of their other teams is in the preceding heat.
And so it looks like with that drop test, we have the final results for Women's Race Day 2019. In first place for the 3rd year in a row, your champions, SDCA. In second place, Pika A with a 231.14. Third place, CIAA, a 233.87. Fourth place, Fringe A, 236.26. Fifth place, SDCB, 240.56. And in sixth place, CIAB, 240.63. Some really nice racing today, some really exciting stuff, some good time being cut off there. What stands out to you as some of the biggest takeaways from today's race?
And I just want to quickly note there, since I know many people are concerned about this, SIGEP B successfully passed drops. So Kraken was successful, so that time does count.
But we'll have to see what the final standings are because, as mentioned, they re-rolled because of a false start from SIGEP. So that could potentially be disqualifying. It is confusing why both re-rolled.
Yeah, sometimes they
contest it. They want to have the time.
Exactly.
Per the rules, whenever there's a false start, typically they're supposed to stop the heat right then and re-roll both the teams. So it's not a DQ when you false start. Both teams are supposed to have the re-roll, so those times should count for both teams.
Yeah, I believe you get one chance to redo it, and then if you false start a second time, you're DQ'd.
Okay.
I think that's how the
they
rule
just didn't
works.
catch the false start in time.
Correct.
Okay.
And I believe we'll have Robo Buggy coming up here, but
yes.
To recap, major stories sticking out from you. What are the big storylines here from the finish of the women's races today?
We had no crashes. We had no crashes, no incidents. We're running on time. This is great.
I do want, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, no, I mean the story is SDCA, right? I mean they're dominant. They've proven doesn't matter. Malice, Inferno, Bane, they could probably run Rage out there again and probably win with an A team. It's impressive. The streak now is at 3 years for women. Assuming there's no issues and that time is official. Yeah. Congratulations to SDCA for destroying my hot take.
And it looks like Pika's time as well might have been a top 20 time ever for women's heats. So both really great turnouts from Pika and SDC. And then CIA getting 2 teams in the top 6 is very impressive. So great performance by a number of teams today.
Yeah. I do want to make a quick note on the schedule here. So we've got Robo Buggy coming up in under 5 minutes. After that, I believe the Hill 5 race between the Pittsburgh Pierogi and the Scotty Dog. Then the men's finals are actually going to be starting at 11 a.m. with the CIAB men's reroll. 11 a.m. The schedule was currently 10:50. We had the extra reroll here. They're pushing it back. That men's will start at 11 a.m. As a reminder, while we, after Robo Buggy and the Hill 5 race, please continue to stay off the course. Race day is not over yet. We were transitioning to men's, so please stay off the course.
Waiting here for Robo Buggy to come on. I understand they are going to.
Yeah. So to give an update on Robo Buggy from what we've heard, and we will hear more about it shortly after Hill 1. Robo Buggy will be rolling fully autonomously today. That is, hopefully everything goes well, but the plan is it will roll fully autonomously. The Hill 1 pusher, and I apologize, I did not get his name, but he is going to push Hill 1 and then finish, fall over, and walk into this booth and help call the rest of the race to let us know exactly what Robo Buggy is doing, thinking, and give us some insight into how Robo Buggy works. So that'll be good. Hopefully, when he finishes up here, he will give us his name. And I again apologize for not getting that, but he'll be able to give us some excellent insight on how Robo Buggy works.
And we did kind of allude to this, but just to be fully explicit, there is no driver in Robo Buggy. Hence the name.
It's a computer.
It is a computer, and it is built, engineered by CMU students to be self-driving, fully autonomous as a buggy, and it is attempting to roll autonomously here.
Yeah, and this is their buggy. I believe they built it last year or 2 years ago, called NAND, which I think is an acronym, but I don't know what the acronym is for.
We'll ask him that when he comes to the booth.
Exactly. We've got plenty of questions for Robo Buggy when they get to the booth. But yeah, so far, everything's going well today. And it'll be good to see if Robo Buggy can complete an autonomous roll.
Robo Buggy looking to set perhaps the course record for an autonomous vehicle, which is 5 minutes something.
There's a dispute between it being 5:45 or 6 minutes, but
we're gonna have to sort that out for next year. We got to look at the details on that.
We will, but hopefully it won't matter because hopefully they will set the course record today.
Do you think this is the future of the sport?
I think there is definitely a future autonomous division. I think
like it'd be like men's, women's autonomous.
Yes, I don't think you'd ever get rid of men's and women's. I think drivers have too much fun.
I think driving is too much fun.
Like no driver would actively choose not to drive. So I don't think men's and women's races are going anywhere. But I do think, much like when women started off as exhibitions and then became its own division, I think that's where autonomous vehicles go.
Okay, it appears we're racing without an outer shell, which would be also a DQ. just throwing that out there.
10, 9,
They've chosen
8,
lane 3.
Which is an interesting
7,
choice.
Mark down
6,
the chute, check.
5,
Hello, Mark.
4,
We got Robo Buggy coming your way.
3, 2,
Who knows?
Yeah.
1.
It tried to kill me a couple years ago. Let's see if it still is aware of my presence.
And they're off. And this is a little typical of autonomous vehicles is they tend to turn left at the starting line, but this is much better than it has been in the past. It has to do with being able to locate the GPS and knowing where it is, but Robo Buggy has we've seen it crash into the curb almost immediately, and here, even though they're not technically in lane 3 anymore, it's still rolling. They haven't hit anything yet, which is impressive.
Looks like the Hill 2 pusher's pushing. Okay.
Yeah, we have the 1-2 transition, and we're going to get a Robo Buggy member. The Hill 1 pusher is on his way to the booth now as Robo Buggy makes the turn and downhill 2.
Yeah.
And
oh my.
Going to hand this over. Oh, we're turning.
Okay.
Oh, it's corrected itself.
Yeah. And
oh my.
Uh-oh. And going for the curb. Oh, was that autonomous? Was that human controlled
yes,
on
it is
that
still
little
autonomous.
Swerve? It is going on fully autonomous. Hello, thank you. Welcome.
Hi.
Sorry, what's your name?
I'm Vivon Ball. I am the software lead for Robo Buggy.
Awesome. Welcome, Vivon.
Sorry if I'm winded. I just pushed till one.
No worries. That's let's see what's going on here. Swerving a little bit, but still not hitting the curb, still moving.
Went in the curb cut. Okay.
It's been difficult for.
I think that's
autonomous
critically
buggies going.
underdamped.
Yeah, so the main problem is, I guess, a lot of people don't realize is how poor GPS reception is all over the course. And that actually really contributes to the issues that you see today. The same issues with like Atlas and stuff like that too.
Oh, that's interesting. So it also just has trouble getting the signal or locating
Yeah,
itself.
exactly. Because just because of the hills, the trees, it's actually like really difficult. And that's why we decided to go with remote control yesterday. Is because of all the clouds and stuff.
Now, isn't there a margin of error with GPS anyway, like within a certain number of feet, even if GPS is functioning to the best of its ability?
And so that's why, like, currently it's supposed to be tracking a line that goes down the middle of the road, so we have as much of the much for margin of error as possible. But yeah.
So you guys have taught it a line down the middle of the road?
Yes, basically we've told it this is the path that we want you to follow, and so it uses a GPS He uses a more advanced version of a compass to basically get its orientation and its position, and based on that, figures out where it needs to go, and then tries to execute that path using the front steering.
Okay.
And it is not motorized at all, though, right?
It is
this
not,
is still
no.
coming from that
We
hill
try to
push.
follow pretty much all the rules as we can. The only rule we break is, well, actually, I'll say the only rule we knowingly break is the driver has to be a registered student, and
You're always
yeah.
in violation of that rule.
definitely yes, except under remote control. But yeah, the other rule we break is the stored energy rule, which I think they're honestly planning on rewriting due to the dropping push bars and stuff like that we're seeing nowadays.
Let me see. We do have a pusher
Okay,
following
we're-
after here.
Yeah, so we have one on standby just because we were pretty unsure about how we were going
Okay,
to
it
be doing.
missed the monument, so that's good.
So this is actually, it's kind of interesting, the dichotomy between standard buggy and robotic buggy.
Oh no.
Bit of a swerve.
The shoot, the
It
shoot area
senses
is
my presence. It's seeking me. You can't get me up here. Though.
oh,
Okay. Okay. Oh.
Oh, this looks bad.
oh no.
No. No. Oh, just missed. But no, loop-a-loop.
Oh, into the hay bales right
That
there.
was pretty good, though.
Pretty good. I think it would be awesome if robo-buggies had drivers, and then there's a light bulb that came on the handlebar when the driver took over. So it would really be a test of courage and faith.
That was,
Yes, I think we might be attempting a reset right here.
and,
Yes, I believe that,
They're
yeah.
keeping on.
That's a great thing.
That's going to be a big
It's
hill
very
3.
nice, yeah. Yeah, well, the thing is we've always historically had a really, really long hill 3 just because we don't get as heavy as much other buggies, so our rollout is actually quite poor comparatively.
Rounding the corner here into hill 3. This guy's going to get his workout today.
Oh,
I
he's
guess that's
got
hill
somebody to
2.5.
take over for him.
Yeah, so there's actually like a decent amount of trouble spots on the course that we have. So usually like right around the stop sign is definitely one. Hill 2 has been an infamous area of just GPS issues and just general problems. We're actually going to be coming up around Hunt Library. That is the last trouble spot.
Right
Now,
before the
this is
finish
just in
line.
terms of GPS
Yes,
signal.
mostly in terms of GPS. Yeah, the system is relatively untested.
Taking a little
unfortunately.
bit
I
off
have
there.
a GPS-related question. Have you guys considered using one of those dual-station GPS systems where you have a ground station and a second one on the
We
on the
did
car?
we did investigate that. Yeah. Ultimately, I think we just kind of ran out of time and members. Honestly, I mean, because yeah, I guess this because every single person who contributes to this project is also a full-time student. We're all at Carnegie Mellon, so it takes a really long This project has taken a lot of time to try and quote unquote perfect in the
Well,
sense.
and you guys you've been rolling on rolls,
Yes,
correct?
we've
You've
been-
been
so,
coming
yeah.
to practice.
Our organization's been around for about 6 years. We started as a project out of the Carnegie Mellon Robotics Club, and that's where we remain. And yeah, so I've been around for 5 of those years actually, and it's been a really awesome experience. I gotta say, like just kind of thinking about Buggy in a new sense. Definitely is really cool experience to be part of.
And it's coming here.
So-
It's looked really nice
Just
though in the way it's
curious, when GPS fails, you guys go with what as a nav system?
So GPS doesn't necessarily like fail. It's more about can we?
When they come across right there to 6:12.95. Round of applause for Robo Buggy.
well,
Thank you, CMU
Thank you,
TV.
CMU TV. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Well, they're making progress.
Well, yeah.
First robo buggy couldn't get off hill 2, so.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, this is actually like I consider this a very big win, honestly.
you
because
had one
yeah.
incident with the curb. Otherwise, it
well,
made it around.
So 2 years ago, when we unveiled like our first ever autonomous roll, that was an interesting one. Just because like we crashed multiple times, we had multiple pushers, and so I think this is definitely a really good step
it's
forward.
starting to resemble a buggy race.
Right
call
there.
that
shoots-
Buggy race.
That's tough for a human.
I mean, that
to
happens
do.
sometimes.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
You know, even with a human driver there, but really exciting, really cool to do. That was Robo Buggy is one of the most CMU things I think ever, and
Definitely, yeah.
a really cool moment. Thank you for joining us and
Yeah,
sharing
well-
some of that on there.
And congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on.
Great, thank you. And we have one more exhibition coming up here before we take a little break before the men's races. I believe we're going to have the Scotty Dog and the pierogi.
Yeah, if there's someone here that can give us official word on that or when it's going to start, I don't know if we have a time on that or... We'll see if someone comes around. I will note, unfortunately, that was not a course record for Robo-Buggy. Oh, also, Robo-Buggy is currently trying drops. We're going to see what happens there, but they're putting it on the line. So there we go. So we'll see. I think they had trouble last time because it wouldn't stay straight, which makes it a little difficult to do drops.
It looks like we have a Carmelian. And of course, there's that Charmander down there around the Hill 1-2 transition.
It's definitely not Charmander because it's red and not orange. That could be Charmeleon. I believe that is Charmeleon.
I think it is Charmeleon.
Yeah.
So good.
Aaron is looking at us with a very puzzled look.
You are a full-grown man.
No furry sightings this year. But Charmeleon.
Detective Pikachu coming out in May.
Yeah.
So, the time, unfortunately, not a course record. I believe the constant swerving back and forth throughout the chute
But I
probably
believe the number
shed
of
some time.
crashes is a course
But the number
record.
of crashes is a record. Only one crash.
On the good side.
Yes, on the good side. Only one crash. The previous record was 2. So congratulations again to Robo-Buggy for putting that together, and we look forward to even greater things in the future.
And not sure on the status of the pierogi Scotty race. Maybe the Carmelian can get involved in that as well. Trying to get eyes on that.
Oh, here they are.
Oh, here we are.
There is
All
a
right.
buggy.
It is a buggy race, ladies and gentlemen.
We've got the pierogi versus the Scotty Dog.
Counting
And they're
it
off.
down. And let's see, who is that?
It's Phoenix. The pierogi is
believe
pushing
it's
Apex is
Bungerous
Phoenix,
Crate.
and that is Bungerous Crate being pushed by Scotty.
Scotty. Let's try to see. I'm trying to see which pierogi that is. I'm trying to see the back of the hat.
I believe that is red.
Red is.
There is more than one pierogi?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that it's either it's got to be the ketchup or onion.
I think
right?
that's the C.
They have names?
Or it might be Oliver. And here we are, and it looks like the pierogi is in front right now. Scotty.
They're getting close. Scotty's picking it up at the end here.
And let's see,
This is going to be a photo finish.
Scotty
Dog wins.
pierogi. Oh my! The familiarity, the Scotty Dog been scouting races all year long to come against that, and that's a C
It's an
on
S.
the back.
It's
Or
an S on the back.
that's Sauerkraut Saul.
Sauerkraut Saul.
Unable to come out in front right there. The Scotty Dog able to just get in front of Sauerkraut Saul right there.
CMU royalty besting Pittsburgh royalty, but it was close.
Just get a picture of the look on his face right now.
There's more than one?
Yeah.
Have you never been to a Pirates game?
Wow, that was
You got Chester cheese, Oliver onion. What's her name? What's another thing you can put on? Here we go. We got jalapeno Hannah.
Yeah, jalapeno Hannah.
Potato Pete. I've never heard of Potato Pete. Is that new?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if
You
he even
got
goes
cheese
every race.
Chester, sauerkraut Saul, Oliver onion, and then I think a couple of special ones: bacon Bert and pizza Penny. But yeah,
Did they all come to the Pirates games at the same time?
Yeah,
it's a race.
They race, and they keep track throughout the year, and you probably could bet on it. I don't know if they're taking that down at Rivers or not, but it's pretty intense. Cheese Chester's always my personal favorite.
Yeah, I'm partial to Oliver Onion because he's nerdy. He's got glasses.
Oh, okay.
He looks like a CMU student, basically, but as a pierogi.
So with that, we have a few minutes before we transition over to the men's races. I think we're going to take a brief break here as we transition between the teams. I think Ben Matzke might hop on, just do a little BAA talk. But I really want to thank Jordan. Looks like he already got out of here. Aaron, Brian, thank you so much for joining us this race day. Very exciting stuff on the women's side. Congratulations again to SDC, their third year in a row, taking home the top title. Again, just a few minutes at about 11 a.m. We'll be getting underway with the men's races. But thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned right here on WRCT CMU TV.
Are we good?
Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Race Day Finals 2019. My name is Ben Matsky.
I am Jeremy Tuttle.
Jeremy Tuttle. I'm the president of the Buggy Alumni Association. Jeremy is our esteemed vice president at this point. And we just want to take a little minute to thank you guys for coming out. Absolutely. It's been a fantastic day of races. The weather has held for us, and we're really excited.
Yeah, it's been an actual competition here. It's a little bit unexpected yesterday, but I think everybody is eager to see a real race. I think we can expect a very close top 3 in men's, which hasn't really been the case in a little while. So fingers crossed for my team, but I think everyone's just happy to see a good, clean race with some close competition.
Absolutely. So we'll let the broadcaster and the other commentators do that sort of talking. They're probably a little better at it than we are. We'd like to talk to you about just a little bit of what's going on in the BAA, what we do for the sport, and really how we help out. So our main role as the Buggy Alumni Association, we really coordinate with Sweepstakes. We act as advisors for them, giving them some historical context and working with the teams to make sure that this kind of broadcast can happen. The teams are very focused, and Sweepstakes is very focused on making the races happen, having all those logistics handled, making sure that we, have the actual races. And so what we end up helping a lot more with gathering volunteers, doing all this extra cool stuff that we have now. The BA was originally founded in 2008, and quickly soon thereafter we got our first Jumbotron, and we added our second, and we've been continuing to build the broadcast ever since.
Yeah, and the money that we receive really helps us. We pay for one of these Jumbotrons and some of the cool signage behind us, and really try to elevate the production of Race Day for all of you watching from home and here. But aside from donations, really just the additional time that one person could potentially donate really makes a huge difference for us. A lot of days when we're putting together the rolls reports, we have one person that does that for almost the whole year. So a second person helping with that, or just putting together some of the reports that we send out, helping with graphics work, website work. Really, if you have talent and an enthusiasm for Buggy and you don't have somewhere to put it, then we are ready and willing to receive your help.
Yeah, to what Jeremy was talking about, we've been able to sponsor the races these last few years. Thank you very much to all of the alumni who are members of the Buggy Alumni Association and those that have gone beyond to donate more to help the cause. We've been able to donate at the highest level for a number of years now because of your donations and because of the help that you guys have been able to provide. Our fantastic officers crew for the Buggy Alumni Association, myself and Jeremy, you've already met. Natalie was on the broadcast earlier. She's our head reporter. She's the one who compiles all of the race day reports. And she does get some help from alumni in the area who are able to come out, take pictures. We've got all sorts of galleries of photos going all the way back to the very, very early stages of Buggy, all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, and leading up to the 100th anniversary of Race Day next year, we're actually hoping to find more historical documents and photos and videos and anything you might have from previous race days, especially before things really got written down very well. 1970s and earlier, even some stuff in the 80s and 90s. We have incomplete information or buggies we've heard of but we've never seen pictures of. So any media that you might have, just shoot over to us, because we're really doing our best to preserve the history of this sport as well.
Absolutely. And the rest of our officers, of course, you've also met Brian Arshem. He's our treasurer and been a great commentator for the last few years. Other ones you might not have seen, Christian Taylor is our webmaster. He's been doing a phenomenal job updating the website, modernizing it, making it mobile friendly, and making it really editable so that we can really get all that information in there in preparation for next year. Eileen Dinnan is our head of communications. She's the one who compiles and writes the race day preview that all of our members received earlier this week. So if you're a member and you would like to see the race day preview, definitely send us an email. We want to get it to you. We want to make sure that you are receiving the things that you should. Joining us this year, we had Ethan Gladding, Rachel Schmidt, and Will Weiner, who you've seen all day, every day for the last several years. Will Weiner joined us to help out and really finesse the broadcast to make it really just a phenomenal event that you see all the time. Ethan Gladding is our graphics specialist. He's been helping making the awesome layout for the race day preview that we had this year, and just improving and continuing to improve all of the graphics that we do. Rachel Schmidt, our secretary, has been able to take on a lot of tasks, from writing the opening ceremony script all the way through to writing some of the AR mailers from alumni relations that you may have received from us as well. Aside from just the officers, we also have a lot of volunteers who are out here today doing timing at the finish line, helping out at the information tent if you're looking for any other information. We have a tent right by the broadcast booth at the top of the hill too. As well as a lot of other random positions all the way around, just to make sure that things are happening, that people are getting food and everything like that. Yeah. Yep. So just to finish out, we're going to let the break continue in just a moment. But any donation is appreciated, of course. We have a huge year next year. It's our 100th anniversary. It's our 99th anniversary this year, of course. We're making some big plans for this centennial, and we hope you can make it out for the live show. All right.
That's great.
Thank you very much, guys. We're going to kick it off for a little bit, back to WRCT, and then back to the races.
We should just keep the mics on.
Never mind. We're just gonna keep the mics on. Will's gonna jump back on. And,
Oh boy.
And I'll transfer it over. Thank you.
Hello, hello. I believe we are just a couple minutes away here from the first of the men's races, the re-roll we're going to be seeing. Just getting situated here, looking at my data. Yeah, so it will be a CIAB men's re-roll coming up shortly. Thank you so much to Ben and the whole Buggy Alumni Association. They do so much to help make this day possible, help make my life easier here as a broadcaster. I will be joined by some people in, hopefully shortly. We got Lino there, cool, and Andy Bordick. Mark Estes, I believe, is in the chute right now.
Still here.
Still here. Thank you, Mark. How are you recovering after your your exhibition heat?
That was my doppelganger.
Gotcha.
I'm fine. It was. I bounced. I think I flipped over, did the personal Jesus, and then got right back up.
It was an impressive recovery. We do have my co-broadcasters coming up here. Oh, cool. Getting set here. We have one re-roll here at the start, CIAB on the men's side, then 5 remaining heats. The big story, which my partner right here, Andy Bordick, I have no doubt is more than happy to tell you about after day 1, is the fact that Pika A is sitting in first place.
Who?
Well, yes, Pika A is sitting in first place. Now, we will get to that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and just introduce this team for CIAB on the men's side. They are going to be re-rolling here. They're going to be in lane 1. On hill 1 is Thomas Yeager. Hill 2, Frank Lee. Hill 3, Kelby Kramer. Hill 4, Andrew Spotto. And Hill 5, Ethan Long
30
Chungus
seconds.
Husted. The driver, Emily Wong, and they are in Equinox. And refresh my memory, why are they getting this re-roll today?
You know, I'm not quite sure.
I don't remember.
Cool.
There were. This is the one that Pika C bumped, and they were sharing
Yeah, that's
paint and
correct.
kind of slowing down.
Yeah, that's right. The one
So-
that Pika C tried to
Yeah.
pass. And okay.
So the offending
10,
buggy gets DQ'd. The one that
9,
was mounted
8,
gets to reroll.
7.
Yes, that is
6,
correct.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
CIAB here coming up. CIAB did place on the women's side, trying to see if maybe they'd be able to on the men's side. This pretty powerful guy up here, Thomas Yeager, starting on hill 1.
He actually just missed the push bar as he was pushing him. It kind of slowed him down a little bit.
A little bit of a loss of momentum there. Frank Lee right there. Going pretty fast here on hill 2.
Yeah, my apologies, I didn't get
That
time,
is
but you
a-
can see the running clock right there.
That is a pretty good hill 2 shove off.
It was odd enough that the two buggies actually, one was clearly far enough behind to have been declared the trailing buggy, and then caught up enough to pass that early, which is really a tribute to, I think, the Pika Hill 2 shove. yesterday.
Who was that talking?
I don't know. I hit my head.
CIAB here coming around the stop sign, about a 57-second stop sign time.
That's pretty good for a B team.
Yeah, and you know what? I had them at a 30-second crosswalk time, and that's about what I got today.
All right, coming in. Nice smooth entry. Pretty much a one turn and get it through. Very good driving on that. One of the better turns of the year.
Gracefully done. So let's check out this roll-up.
It's coming into 3. Pretty nonchalant from that hill 3 right there.
Didn't seem like he's in any kind of hurry.
But he nailed it.
Yeah.
And he has it right there, looking at that 2 bumps to 1 shove, and he really blasted that out ahead of hill 4.
That looks like a well-practiced hill 3-4.
Andrew Spotto right there, the hill 4 pusher. The CIA team, their pushers are really high quality. That's one area over the past 5 years or so. They have some nice depth on the push team. Ethan Long, Chungus Husted coming here on hill 5, crossing just over that 2-minute mark.
Can he catch back up to that buggy?
Yeah, one important thing for those of you just joining us, the hands need to be on the push bar as they come across that finish line. His hand is on the push bar at 2:17.08 unofficially. For reference, the 6th place time yesterday was Sig Ep A in qualifying at 2:16.21. So maybe not quite enough for a trophy depending on how some things go today, but really nice from a B team right there for Sig Ep. For CIAB, and that will be their time for today. Will land on the leaderboard there. Now, just to kind of give a recap for everyone, a lot of people maybe just joining us here. It is now slightly past 11 a.m. here on WRCT Pittsburgh, CMU TV. This is the men's finals. Women's finals already occurred. SDCA taking home the crown with Pica A, CIAA right behind them. These are buggy races here, so we are going to have 5 heats of 2 buggies each. Their times will stack up on the leaderboard right there, pending any rules violations or anything like that. The top 6 times are going to be taking home trophies here in this race. Since we do have some new people probably in the crowd, you guys want to go just a quick kind of overview of what they can expect to see, what this race is, what it's going to look like.
So we're going to be seeing teams moving even faster than yesterday. So rumor has it that STC might not have been showing us exactly what they could do yesterday. And so a lot of people are expecting them to shave 2-3 seconds off of their time from yesterday. Today, heat is on, definitely both on the wheels and on the track. Pushers are going to be competing with the best of the best, and having some of those better teams in the same heat as you definitely drives pushers to perform 1 second, 2 seconds faster than they might have during rolls as well.
And I was watching the women's rolls, and I think the drivers are doing much better today than they did yesterday. Most of the turns were really smooth. The Pica A team driver had a great line, one of the better ones I've seen all weekend, and SDC Women's A, not perfect, but still much better than yesterday. So I don't know if just running hot yesterday gave them more confidence, a little bit more of a feel for where their lines should be, but the chute's been really clean. Of course, I'll jinx myself saying that, but it looked really good. The drivers are really doing much better, and you just saw CIA do it. And oh, by the way, she was a good mile per hour faster today than she was yesterday.
And what was that? That final time was a 2:16.87. So that would be good for 7th place according to yesterday, but there's a real log jam at the middle of the standings yesterday. If we look, 4th place was SDCB at 2:15.79. 5th place, Fringe A at 2:16.01. 6th place, SIGEP A at 2:16.21. 7th place, Pica B at 2:16.89. 8th place, Spirit B at 2:17.16. And we anticipate we may see some of their their 18 pushers right there. So there's a big logjam and not a lot of separation between 4th place and 8th place in all these standings.
Well, I got a little insight onto the Spirit thing. I don't think they subbed their A pushers for their B team, so I think they're limited in terms of how many A pushers you're going to see showing up on that Spirit B squad.
Yeah, definitely today, any kind of variable, any kind of adjustment you make, not only to your buggy, but to where you even start and transition from one hill to the other is going to make all the difference here, especially seeing that some of these teams only had less than half a second time difference in some of their times yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And that short time distance is tempting. Some chairmen may be dialing it up not just to 11, maybe all the way to 12. And sometimes that'll pay off and get you another second, and sometimes that will end in tragedy. And we'll
That's
see.
right.
We'll see. It's very tempting to just go a little further, a little hotter.
Almost like the tragedy that happened today on Hill 5, where Mark Estes donated much DNA to the road.
If you weren't here for the exhibitions, I don't know if the replay will be available somewhere, but I know that's going into my personal highlight reel.
I think
right
it's on
there.
my Facebook page right now.
Oh,
so
good.
if you want to seek it out on Facebook, go ahead and stalk me.
Somebody make a GIF of that, please.
Yeah, right.
I bounced.
And the top of the leaderboard, of course, very interesting, right? CIAA, SDCA, PICA A. Really, probably PICA and SDC jockeying for that top spot. The big surprise, the big story of yesterday, PICA about 1 3/4 seconds faster than SDCA, the 7-time reigning champion. And to add a little bit of drama to that, that tied PICA's old record for the longest series of consecutive wins in buggy history. So if PICA can hold on to that #1 spot and win today, they keep that as a tie. They don't have SDC breaking that record, you know. But if SDC can manage it, they will be solely holding on to the all-time record of the most consecutive wins right there. So
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people are kind of talking to me about it, and there's people kind of they don't like the same team winning, and there's been several folks that have said, hey, you know, good job, PICA. They kind of want to see somebody else win, and I'm in that same. I'd love for PICA to win. I'd be happy to see Fringe do it or CIA. I'm actually a little disappointed in Fringe's day one time. Don't know if they can dial it up like Mark said today. The thing I think we need to look out for is when they do dial it up, like Mark said, there could be, you know, tragedy. I think the front hills will be clean.
2 minutes.
We'll have to see what happens in the shoot turn, and also at the push bar on the finish line.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tighter than what we saw yesterday. I think SDC left a little bit of speed down here in the chute. PICA had a pretty much flawless chute turn, and I'm not sure she could make the chute going much quicker. I think SDC had some speed in hand that they gave up right down here by me, and enough possibly to close that gap. So it could be neck and neck. We'll see who was really doing a layup and who was actually doing a three-point shot yesterday, but it could be fun.
We definitely see a lot of drivers hone in their line on day 2.
Yep, and we will see right here, we're under 2 minutes until the start of this first race right here. In lane 2, we're going to have CIAC on hill 1, Rob Simpson, hill 2, Bobby Chen, hill 3, Antioch Sanders, hill 4, Dylan Tom, and hill 5, Brandon Jin. The driver, Nahum Kim in Aurora. And in lane 1, Fringe A, celebrating their 50th anniversary. On hill 1 is Clifford Russell. Hill 2, Brevin Mixon. Hill 3, Evan Schindewolf. Hill 4, Davis Dunaway. And hill 5, Jason Chadwick. The driver, Amy Chen, in blue shift. And it, excuse me, again, this is one of those teams really looking to shave some time off. Not necessarily what they were hoping for on day 1.
Yeah. Hey, if you happen to have the name Hannah Veracamp, I have your phone. I'm going to start calling China with it. But you can come pick it up here at the broadcast booth next to Hill 2. And yeah, I would expect Fringe to really rip it. I would expect them to really just...
I'm expecting them to have made major adjustments to however they decide to tune that buggy, Blue Shift. Blue Shift traditionally one of their faster buggies, and so I'm excited to see how it performs today. A bit disappointing from yesterday, but I know they can pull it out.
7.
They were smooth, but they weren't smoking.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
And here we go, the first full men's finals heat. Fringe A trying to shave some time, get into that top 3, and they are flying forward. Clifford Russell really looking good on that hill 1, trying to bring the heat. Transition there from 1 to 2. Brevin Mixon You can tell there's a lot of fire behind this Fringe A team here coming into that hill 2 shove to the free roll.
He had about an 18.2 second hill 1 and about a 20, just sub 29 at the crosswalk.
So good, but not in the realm of the best yesterday or the best ever.
They shaved off about almost half a second from yesterday, though.
Now let's see how much time they can shave off in the free roll.
It is hot, magnificent weather out here today. And pavement's warm. These buggies should be moving a little quicker.
About a 56-second stop sign time or so unofficially.
Right, coming through the upper transition flag very smoothly. Second buggy just now reaching upper transition, so Fringe is really motoring. Nice smooth entry. Just missed that pothole. Very much a single smooth turn. You couldn't ask for a better shoot turn than that from her. CIA coming through. Push bar stayed up the whole time. Very tight line against the bales, heading up to hill 3.
Here we are coming into that 3 transition. Evan Schindewolf right here. Pretty solid momentum maintained right there.
Yeah, it was a pretty good pickup. He paused a second, but he couldn't really do much better.
Going into 4.
Very clean transition from 3 to 4 there.
Really powering down Davis Dunaway right here. Getting into that 4-2-5 transition right here. Switching over right there at about 1 minute 56 seconds.
It's going to put them close to where they were yesterday. I would expect this to be about a 2:15 or so.
CIA making their transition right now. Hill 5, Jason Chadwick coming in, closing in on that finish line.
Smartly doing small bumps.
Gonna have his hands on that push bar right at about a 2:16 right there. We're gonna have to get that official time. Really pretty similar, close to that log jam. Yes, CIA coming across at about a 2:25, 2:26 right there, which is good time for them. CIAC actually maybe losing a couple seconds from yesterday. It looked like they had a 2:23.77. Again, these times are extremely unscientific. So we will report the actual finishes as soon as we have them up on the screen right there. Fringe A, is that right?
No.
No. Okay, a 2:15.79. 2:15.79 for Fringe A. So they were able to cut off about a quarter of a second. CIAC 2:25.61. So they actually lost a little bit as opposed to yesterday.
Well, one major difference today is there is no wind. It is still sunny, partially cloudy, as Pittsburgh will always be, but pavement's warm, but there's no wind down here. So it was pushing the buggies around pretty good yesterday. Today, I'm not sure how free rolls have been, but more like you would expect on a non-windy day.
Yeah, it was gorgeous down there. It's very un-Pittsburgh-like, and the shoot was really nice, and I mean, it's balmy. It's shorts weather down there.
Un-Carnival-like. It's nice to get a couple good days. I guess we had one and like a semi-good day yesterday, minus the rain. Looks like they passed the drop test there.
Yeah, unfortunately yesterday we had a lot of debris being blown into the course, and today we do not have that excuse anymore. Looking at Aurora going into the drop test. Yeah, didn't it snow one year in 2013?
That sounds about right. There was a stretch there from it was 13 through 15 or so where, you were barely able to scrape in one day of races, and it was particularly miserable.
For those who haven't been to Tom Wood's history of buggy talk, he'll tell you about how Spirit in '88 set that the long-standing record that held for over 20 years with a 2:06.2, and there was snow on the hill here that morning. It was a cold day. People were like, oh, it's these warm days, and Spirit burned it out there, even with a crummy, snowy day. So it has been pretty cold in the past. Mm-hmm. It's not like this. I mean, God bless global warming.
Going to be moving on here. Men's Heat 2, SDC B, Spirit B. So it sounds like Spirit will be keeping generally their B team there. Their A team spun out in the shoot yesterday, so we are not seeing Spirit B on day 2, which definitely, something we're not super accustomed to.
5 minutes!
And we didn't see Spirit at all on the women's side, so I'm glad we are getting some day 2 action from Spirit. One of the most exciting teams out there.
Yeah, the really nice thing is, I think it was 6 of the 8 teams that are competing made day 2. So I think Fidel didn't make it, and Sigma Nu, but Sigma Nu was rolling a whole bunch of fun stuff this morning. I mean, a Scotty Dog just pushed that Scuba Buggy, so.
Well, they'd already established the all men's championship yesterday, so why come out? I mean, this co-ed race is interesting, but
Do they have a trophy for that?
I'm pretty sure no.
And yeah, it looks like we do have a few subs here potentially on the Spirit B team who could give maybe SDCB a little bit of trouble. SDCB, again, one of these teams yesterday who was kind of in the big log jam in terms of times, right around 2:16. They had the highest of those at a 2:15.79. So that would actually put them, they had the exact same time yesterday as Fringe A just put up to a T. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, SDC you generally imagine going to cut a second or two off there. But it could be interesting, especially, you know, with Spirit on some of these front hills right here. Not sure exactly some of the, I'm trying to understand some of these changes they made. I don't think they pulled in anyone from the A. Looks like one of their C team pushers is coming up here. So it won't be the full-on Spirit A team, and in that case then you'd really be worried if you're SDCB coming up that hill. But even so, they have some really strong, really gifted pushers that could make this interesting for SDCB in terms of this matchup.
Yeah, the up and over is going to be the key part here. If Spirit B can win the up and over, it's going to be really hard. SDC will have to pass, and we'll see how that goes. And Spirit is not slow. I mean,
No, they are not.
They can roll pretty fast, so even if they win the up and over, there's nothing saying that they won't be first into the shoot turn either.
Right, and this is one of those things where you talk about how much of a log jam it was at the top yesterday. Spirit B had a 217.16, SDCB a 215.79. That's not a lot of separation, and there's not a lot sweepstakes can do when the teams are that tight together.
Especially when there's subbing involved. You can take the times that you had yesterday, but the moment you start subbing people out for certain hills, those times start becoming more and more unpredictable. And Spirit Buggies, under the right conditions and under the right handling, can go blisteringly fast through the chute. And so we might, there's something we can see here, definitely.
Yesterday,
if you look at the list of who's won this race since like the 80s, it's not a lot of teams, and Spirit's name shows up
2 minutes! 2 minutes!
Yesterday I had Spirit B Hill 1 at a 17 seconds and SDCB at 18 and a half. So if you just can repeat from yesterday, Spirit's going to win up and over.
Yeah, and it looks like actually Spirit does have a different Hill 1 potentially today. I'm not sure exactly why. But I'll go ahead and introduce the rosters that we have for these teams today as we're under 2 minutes to the start of this second heat. On Hill 1 for Spirit B, they're going to be in lane 2. I have Joel Anyanti. Hill 2, Mecca Parker. Hill 3, Joel Osei. Hill 4, Obed Apaya Agaman. And Hill 5, Adam Assad. The driver, Nina Prakash and Seraph. Those names slightly different than those on the screen right now, but I have been past that as their official roster. And in lane 1, we are going to have SDC.
1 minute! 1 minute!
In Hill 1, Neville Carceres. Hill 2, Cody Yang. Hill 3, Bruce Lee. Hill 4, Grayson Moyer. And Hill 5, Raymond Galeza. The driver, Elaine Oyang in Vice.
Don't mess with Bruce Lee, man. He'll cut you.
Yeah, notice Chuck Norris is afraid of this race.
I love old guy jokes.
30 seconds!
That's why we keep you guys together. Under 30 seconds for this to start. This could be a very, very interesting race, especially with the up and over in the back hills.
Yeah, who turned it up to 11, possibly 12? We'll see. It'll be fun.
Seraph out there. Vice also out near the course.
Now I'm excited to see what Vice can do today, because Vice has traditionally not necessarily been an A or B team buggy, but let's see how it performs today.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ready, set.
All right, and they are off right here. Joel Anyanti versus Neville Carceres.
As expected. Look at him.
Take a look at that separation.
And it looks like that Hill 1 for Spirit going to be able to make that transition before
SDC is putting up a fight, though.
And he got faster today.
Oh, and look at them go. There's no way SDC can catch up now.
He had a 16-9, Hill 1.
And Seraph going down there.
But it looks like Vice is catching up to speed in the free roll.
Yeah, Vice maybe gaining a little bit there.
And 27 seconds at the crosswalk, which is a good full second faster than Spirit was yesterday. I'm not sure SDC will catch him.
And that's a great crosswalk for a B team.
Seraph.
No, it's a ABC team.
Pretty clean right there. Vice hovering behind, though, not going to be shut out of this equation. It's going to be exciting on the back hills, about a 54-second, then 55.5-second for SDC right there at the stop sign.
All right,
We're
holding
coming
position, upper transition, boom, boom, right through B2.
Oh, boy.
Still good spacing. Nice. Ooh. SDC had a big wobble there. Ooh, another nasty slide here towards the end. Spirit through very cleanly. A little wandering, but tiny little notch.
And this is going to be all about the back hills there.
Wow.
A couple seconds
You
ahead.
can see here exactly what a slide does to your rollout. He had to pick that up at the first window.
Yep.
That SDC pusher is going to have his work cut out for him.
And a really nice transition from 3 to 4 right there. This race looking to be Spirit's unless some miraculous action can take place on the back hills for SDC. And we see Spirit separating themselves right here. Hill 4, Obed pushing that. Grayson Moyer, SDC trying to catch up. And Adam Assad now, that Hill 5.
Get out of the way of that buggy.
And Spirit pusher fell down, but it looks like he's able to get up and out of the way enough. Spirit B putting up a nice time. Adam Assad right here, really flying, really cranking, coming up, going towards that finish line. We crossed just over 210 here, but let's see when they're going to finish. Trying to catch up, got the hand on the push bar, 215.44. SDCB now coming in at 220.64, the unofficial time for them there.
Great race by Spirit.
Really well done by Spirit. They're able to get up and over right there and then maintain that lead throughout, and that little wobble for SDC really costing them there on that rollout.
It really shows the practice that goes into this and how your Hill 3 pusher really needs to understand how fast that buggy's going to go to figure out the best placement and the best speed that they're going at to perform that pickup from the chute.
So the time officially, Spirit B, a 2:15.22 brings them to the top of the leaderboard right now. SDCB, a 2:20.43. That puts them right now in 4th place.
And that was the second fastest Hill 1 time I've seen all weekend. So he really picked it up. And I think, and Mark can comment more, I think that was one of their better turns of the weekend, too.
It was very clean.
Please,
Sorry, I was having microphone trouble. That was a great turn for Spirit. That was the worst turn I've seen that actually made it through for SDC, and it killed them on the rollout.
And is that something, I assume, no real chance for a re-roll for SDC for any reason there? That's going to be their BT time.
Here you can see this replay. You'll see the SDC, she turns it, great save, but she's turning way too hard, way too early there. And then she gets a little slide there again in the second half of that turn, and it just shed all of her energy.
And we talk a lot about teams picking up time. Today, SDCB, because of Spirit getting ahead there, lost about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Versus yesterday. They were at 2:15 something. Today they're at a 2:20.43. So that gives a few teams an opportunity to move up on that leaderboard. Again, the top 6 are going to go home with trophies. SDCB already just in 4th place right now with a lot of races yet to roll.
Now, traditionally, SDC has seen B and even C teams place in the top 6 in the past few years. Maybe this is the year that doesn't happen.
Andy, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that orange buggy from SDC the one that had the wheel fall off and hit the bales yesterday?
That was a yellow one that just rolled. It wasn't the orange one.
Oh, I'm a little bit colorblind too. So. Yeah.
But just to clarify, for when you're looking at the Hill 4 pusher for Spirit that shoved, the rules actually say you're allowed to shove. You can fall down. You get your own lane, and the following buggy has to move away from you. You can't move. The best thing you can do is you shove and stop.
5
because you have a quote-unquote lane that is yours. And if you shove and fall, you're actually allowed to stay there, and the following buggy has to go around you. So you get a lane all the time. So you could just shove and stop. And that other buggy, and I would always tell my drivers, don't follow directly behind a team ever, because they get that space. So you always want to be staggered a little bit. So the SDC driver should just be offset a little bit.
I have a little piece of skin holding our lane on Hill 5 still.
Mark's spot is still there.
But a nice recovery there from that Spirit pusher to bounce up and get off there after all that exertion, pushing all the way on Hill 4.
Sort of stopped, dropped, and rolled away from Vice there. As he looked up, and you could see the expression on his face as he looked around and saw the buggy coming straight at him.
Yeah, still not quite as impressive as the exhibitions with the MCS pusher, was it? The MCS professor? Was it the one guy fell over, did a barrel roll on Hill 1, and then kept pushing.
Got back up.
That was,
gutsy move.
Yeah, that was the best day of exhibitions
The faculty, man, they got some heart.
In my time.
In the past, Spirit has done flips after pushing some of their buggies, especially off of Hill 2. So
The one guy did it all the time. He was good at it.
Yeah, maybe
that one Hill 2 guy.
Got a bit of inspiration there. Oh, and we're getting the
we
replay now.
Yeah, so you'll see it. He's allowed to stay right there. He actually doesn't have to move. So if he got hit, that would have been STC's fault.
Just able to get out of the way there. So very nice by him there.
Of course, you eventually have to move because the truck will run you over. I'm sure of those people. I've been yelled. I get yelled at when I was pushing. They almost ran me over on Hill 2.
Oh, the follow truck does not care about you.
They should actually have some sort of like shredding blade on the front of it just to really prove the point.
Little Mad Max.
It's not Fury Road. It's Fru Street.
But a guy with a guitar playing with flames coming out of it.
I wouldn't object, but I do
would
think that might be a safety hazard.
Hey, that might be like the next Buggy Alumni Association fundraiser. Be the flame thrower guitar guy in the front of the follow truck chasing the buggies.
It's Buggy 100 next year, right? You got to pull out all the stops. So we'll see what we may get with that. Next race. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The next race coming up is CIAA Apex B. CIAA kind of in this middle zone between the top two teams and then kind of 4 through the rest. Be interesting to see if they can cut some time. I know they had a little bit of issues on their back hills in terms of just some sloppy pickups. Also interesting to note, this Apex B team entirely shifted from yesterday. It's not just a pure porting of their A team. We are sad to see our friend Old Man Connor Hayes not going to be back out there, but they got a couple.
2 minutes.
They got a couple folks from their A team, someone from their C team, and a couple other B team people.
Yeah, he made some excuse that the A team had something rubbing inside the buggy, which made it go slower. Blah blah blah. But they can sub that way because that B team did make it.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and introduce that roster then. So in lane 2, we are going to have Apex B. On Hill 1, Clayton Edwards. Hill 2, Evan Zhang. Hill 3, Preston Vandervos. Hill 4, Jason Sterenko. Hill 5, Andy Shen. And the driver, Amanda Volton in Firefly. And in lane 1, CIAA. Hill 1, Jacob Hoffman. Hill 2, Julian Trulier. Hill 3, sorry, they gave me a couple names. Adolfo Victoria. Hill 4, Jonathan Goodstein. And Hill 5, Kevin Frey. The driver, Rachel Motz in Emperor.
1 minute.
They give me this a pronunciation guide, and it just was a different name in there, so had to make a thing on the fly. The one thing that's very interesting to note about the CIAA team, their King of the Hill, their Hill 1 pusher is the reigning 2-time King of the Hill who came over from SDCA. We definitely saw SDC missing him, but also CIAA had a really nice up and over yesterday.
30 seconds.
We'll see if he's able to replicate that today.
And we'll look to see, CIA was rolling pretty fast, but they corrected the speed for CIAC. I said it's 37. It wasn't that fast. Right now, the fastest buggy that's rolled down today has been SDCB with a 35.6 miles an hour. So we'll see if CIA can really get this buggy moving the way that we think it can. The two teams in day 2 is great. I would expect CIA to really juice this thing up, and it's really smooth through the turn all the time. So I don't think it's very risky for them.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set.
And here goes CIAA Apex B. CIAA trying to lock down a top 3 spot. Reigning king of the hill, Jacob Hoffman, blasting up that hill 1 right there.
He had 16 seconds yesterday. See what he gets today. Sub 16. Got about a 15.9.
And he transitions that to Julian Trulier, a 5-year pusher here for the CIA team. Nice shove, a lot of speed going into the free roll. Apex not too far behind, but gonna be giving up a couple seconds right there as we come into the free roll.
That was the fastest crosswalk time that I've had in the weekend. It was about 25 seconds.
That's on par with the best ever.
So amazing job by that veteran Hill 1, Hill 2 tandem. The question is, what can CIA do on these back hills? About a 52.5 at that stop sign time. That's very nice from them. 55.5 from Apex B.
That's where they were yesterday.
CIA taking the upper flag. Looks like they put some distance on the following buggy.
I'm expecting the speed to be at least 37 miles per hour.
Nice smooth turn in. I'm not even going to look at it's through. Second buggy bumping around a little bit, but through as well. Very clean lines for both drivers. No notches. Everything copacetic.
Watch this.
All right. Ooh.
Good pickup.
Got smoked.
We only needed 2 bumps and then 1 big push over there to Hill 4. A little bit of a wobble on that push connecting there. Apex making that 3-4 transition right now.
You're going to want to see him shove off at about 150 to be under a 210.
Let's see here. We got John Goodstein. Hill 4, maybe a couple more shoves.
The return of the fingerless gloves.
And there we go. 150 being taken over by Kevin Fry. Fingerless glove guy. Yeah.
He's got no fingers?
No, he does. It's creepy.
You don't need fingers to push.
CIAA, and look at Kevin Fry. He is really smoking up there, coming towards that finish line. He catches up with that buggy. He's going to keep his hand on that push bar and come across at a 210.84. Very nice speed for them. That's going to cut a couple seconds off of yesterday, and a 218.69 for that Apex B. So they cut 4 seconds off. Granted, they had a lot of changes on the pusher.
It's a great run by CIA. You know, they shaved off a bunch of time. Now they're at the same time that STC roll. Not quite. So they rolled a 211.36 yesterday.
And let's see when that time does update here.
Hey, can you guys run through the top times when you get them?
Yeah, so we just had CIAA come in. They are a 210.62, so they shaved about a second from yesterday, but still not sub 210. In second place, Spirit B at a 215.22. Third place, Fringe A at 215.79. Fourth place, CIA B 216.87. Fifth place, Apex B 218.39. And in sixth place, hanging on right now, is SDCB at a 220.43.
Looks like CIA pass drops. So a nice run. That's a way to improve day to day. It's such a gorgeous day today. It's just a great day to rip out there and just let it go. I'm sure they were looking for a sub 210. But still, that kind of improvement is nice.
It's a bit disappointing, but definitely a very competitive time for this race day.
Yeah, and what do you think it was? Because their front hills looked really, really good there.
I don't know that buggy rolled all that fast. Did we get a speed on that one yet?
It was 35.96 mph. There were a couple wobbles and looked like the 3 and 4 where they didn't get the cleanest shove.
Yeah.
I think may have had a little bit of sideways momentum working against them there. And this race day is really flying by. The fourth men's heat coming up here. And I don't remember how long it's been since SDCA hasn't been in the final spot on a race day finals. But here they are.
I don't think they're worried. I don't. I mean, they got to be clean. I don't think they're down there, shaking their boots thinking they can't win it.
It just feels strange for me to mention SDCA in a fourth heat.
I think it feels pretty good.
Now, the desire behind the last heat of the day, that's really to make sure that the roads are as warm as possible on those tires and on those wheels. So one of the indicators, you get to, once your times are in for the first day, preliminaries, you get to choose which heat you have. And the faster you are, the better your choices are. And so, of course, Pika, going for that last slot of the day, you also get to bid on which lane you want as well. And so they definitely took full advantage of that today.
So a very long time ago, Sweepstakes does a great job these days. The re-rolls are always well done, and they have time to consider any kind of challenges. But we used to actually not want the last heat of the day. We want the second to last, so we had time to look at what happened, maybe lodge a protest, whatever, give ourselves a little bit of buffer to make sure if we needed a re-roll, we'd have time to do it. We'd have time to turn the buggy around, get some fresh wheels on there. So it's a little bit of a risk to be last because roads closed. You know, there had been years where we wanted a re-roll and the Pittsburgh police opened the roads and we were just done.
Oh, no. Not much you can do about that when there's actual cars on the road.
That's why it's not always great to be last.
And one thing that is interesting about this heat as well is I believe Pika B is going to be going up against SDC here. Now, you don't imagine they're necessarily going to have equivalent pushers, but knowing that their A team is coming next, one, it means Pika has 2 buggies in consecutive races, but 2, you want your brothers there to take home that crown. You're going to do anything you can to make life difficult on that hill 1 and hill 2 or the back hills or any of the hills for SDC right there.
You mess with them as best you can. The best way to do it is if you can get the up and over, it's just devastating. You saw what happened to SDCB. If you don't get the up and over, your whole line falls apart. They lost 5 seconds, probably because they weren't in first. So there's about a second to a 0.8 of a second difference on the hill 1 times from SDC and Pika B. I don't expect the Pika B pusher will go that fast, but if he could, it'd be really, really hard for SDC.
If the goal is to destroy morale, beating them to the top of hill 2 will definitely do that.
Yeah.
And if other pushers on the back hills see that on the Jumbotron down at the chute, it can be a real bust to morale, and it can really shake your nerves at the end of the day.
Yeah, you also have to think that the STC driver following that buggy down the hill and thinking, I'm going to have to pass, I'm going to have to pass, might have led to her turning in a little early, which is what she did. Right? It affects the driver, too. If you're staring at the back of a buggy and you think, well, I might have to pass that thing somewhere interesting, like the chute. Plays mind games with you.
Especially if you're a veteran driver and you're thinking to yourself, that should be my position right now.
All that said, of course, this is SDCA here going up against them, so you'd have faith. But their Hill 1, it's his first year. Again, they lost the King of the Hill from a couple years ago. A little bit more of a question mark than necessarily other years.
Now, yesterday, the second fastest Hill 1 time for men's, that went to Pika, didn't it?
Pika A, I think.
I think Pika A.
That's what I have, yeah.
So we have a Hill 1 time for SDC sitting in the 3rd spot right now. But let's see what they can do today. Perhaps that Hill 1 pusher can shave off a bit of time.
The question is, where was the Pika B Hill 1 yesterday?
I had him at Pika B was 18-second Hill 1, so not super fast.
And did we see any roster substitutions? I know you guys like to do that.
No, I do not have any substitutions for either of these 2 teams, so we are going to assume there are none. Let's go ahead and take a look at those rosters. In lane 2 is going to be Pika B. On Hill 1, Johnny Perea. Hill 2, Ryan Janzik. Hill 3, Rory Kinsella. Hill 4, Chandler Stacy. And Hill 5, John Chacho. The driver is Taylor Davis, and they are in Kyoto.
Is that a mugshot?
And in lane 1, your 7-time in a row repeat champion, trying to make it a record 8th SDCA. On Hill 1, Matthias Johnson. Hill 2, Boyao Yu. Hill 3, Kevin DeVicentis. Hill 4, Danny Vadova. And Hill 5, Brandon Foster. The driver, Kyoko Inagawa, and they will be in Bain.
And it is Cleona, to answer your question.
Yeah, I expect to see SDC going faster here. Speculation on the up and over aside, they left some time on the course yesterday, so if they can get through cleanly, I think they're going to be putting some pressure on Pike.
30 seconds!
I agree.
30
and their time yesterday at
seconds.
2:08.98. Pika's time yesterday at 2:07.22.
I could see SDC rolling about a 2:05 right now.
Let's see, maybe pick up those few seconds the B team lost and take them off on their end here.
Look, just to brag about how light their buggies are, they have like the tiniest carry-out team ever.
Yeah, just a single strap, 2 women.
You look at that
2 little
compared to the
5-foot-tall
Pika.
girls just holding on to that thing.
They didn't use a Mylar balloon to hold up the phone.
just a helium balloon, really.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ready, set.
And here goes SDCA, a chance at a date with history if they're able to get first place here today. Matthias pushing in that hill one, Pika B trying desperately to catch up, but it looks like there's getting to be a slight bit of separation here from this SDC team. They're going to make the transition at about the same time right here.
This might be close.
It's going to be close coming into the hill too, but boy, Yao Yu, the veteran fourth-year pusher for SDC, able to get it out there. Pika B just behind right there. Bain going to try and make some separation there in the free roll. SDCA able to maintain a little bit of a lead in that that front hill, but it's still, Pika was making it not too easy for them.
SDC shaved off almost half a second on hill 1 alone.
Well done. So let's see what they can shave off in the shoot as well. Shoot turn
So maybe yesterday was a layup for them. Let's see.
52 seconds right there at the stop sign. Pika B 54 and a half.
Yeah, they were sandbagging.
Yep.
So rolling down smoothly, both buggies through the upper transition. SDC taking the shoot flag. Very smooth turn. Nice clean line. Through Pika with a little slide and a second little slide. Little micro slides. Very notchy. I'd say a 3-notcher. There you go, Ephraim.
We're going to see here Kevin DeSantis, how he's able to pick it up. Really nice hill 3 pickup right there. Kind of that full momentum right there. Getting with that buggy. 1, 2, 3 bumps. And a push off right there to Danny Vidova.
Yeah, they're pulling away. They pulled away through the roll and here just adding on.
Yeah, and that's an A team against a B team, right? I mean, that's what you'd expect to see on the back hills.
Danny Vidova right here, looking for that 4 to 5 transition here. Want to have a good push, want to cut some seconds off of the previous day. He's going to be taking that about 148, and this is going to be close. SDCA coming here, flying towards that finish line. Brandon Foster right here, ton of speed, ton of momentum. We're just crossing over 2 seconds right here. Trying to see what can they cut off from their day before. A 2:05, a 2:06, a 2:06.81, the unofficial time right there. We'll look to get the official. Meanwhile, Pika B, 2:12, 2:13. Hand on there at a 2:15.07. Really nice right there from Pika B as well.
Yeah, great race by SDC. You know, taking off, what, 2 seconds from yesterday or so?
Yeah, maybe even, yeah, 2, about. And Pika B cutting maybe a second or something off there as well, too. Look to get those official times. All right, so we do have the time posted. SDCA with a 2:06.61. That puts them up at the top. That is the time that Pika A has to beat. Pika B got a 2:14.86, which right now puts them in 3rd place.
Nice job
right
by
ahead
B
of
team.
Spirit B.
That could have been even quicker if they'd had a cleaner shoot turn.
Right.
So both of those teams came to play today.
Definitely. And Bain, the driver of Bain, Kyoko, definitely shaved off some time in her shoot turn as well from yesterday. Really clean stuff.
So the stage is set. Yesterday, Pika A, a 2:07.22, but the time to beat SDCA, 2:06.61. More than just first place this year is on the line. SDC, Pika, tied for the longest race winning streak in buggy history at 7 years in a row. If Pika is unable to top that SDC time, SDC takes the crown alone in what would be their 8th victory in a row.
Pika only needs to shave off about half a second that they did from yesterday, and half a second is really a 1/10 of a second at each transition. It's not a whole lot of parts that have to come together to do it, so it's their race to win or lose right now. They have to be flawless. They have to make sure that they're very clean. The A-team driver for the women had a great line. They need another great line through the shoot turn. If you look at SIGEP A yesterday, SIGEP A, who they're going against in this heat, ran a 17.7 hill 1. So there's only going to be about a half a second difference between, well, no, Pika had a 16.7, so there should be about a second, but SIG FA is going to be there. They rolled pretty fast, but Pika just has to be clean, clean, clean.
All the way through.
Yeah, certainly that SDC roll in the last heat was an improvement on their roll yesterday. I'd be shocked if their trap time wasn't higher. And you saw the rollout, and certainly part of that 2-second bump was in the driver. And hats off to her, good line.
Now, do we have the official trap time yet for SDC?
We do. They have the fastest time of the day. Their top speed there, 36.44 miles an hour. That's about a half mile an hour faster than CIA there, who was previously holding on to the top spot. So very nice roll by SDC. They did everything they needed to do to put themselves on the doorsteps of history to break one of the most important records in Buggy. But the door is still open for this Pika team. Sub 206.6, definitely possible for them. The pressure's on, the heat is on. Can SDC hang on, though, and get their 8th trophy in a row?
So a couple things. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Normal race day, we're usually just waiting for SDC to finish their final heat and tick the box that says, yep, we won again. Not so much this year. It's amazing what Pika did yesterday to set up this situation where they threw it down and they said, hey, we're here to play. So we'll see how this goes.
It's been a great race day, too. It's nice that we have that competition. In the past, there's been a 5-second delta between the SDC A team and anybody else. So the fact that there is a battle going on is much more exciting. And also, it's been pretty clean down there. I just got word that there have been no reroll requests as of right now. So it's kind of rare that there's not some kind of craziness going on where somebody wants another chance to go at it. So right now, it's just kind of locked in. So it's, it's teed up for Pika to finally get back into, Buggy greatness.
Absolutely.
What a magnificent day for this race. It is beautiful down here. The crowd is, I've seen bigger crowds, but it's a decent crowd down here. Plenty of Sigma News. I've seen more SDC people back this year than ever. Maybe I just recognize the shirts better. But there's a pretty good throng, I would say, down here.
Yeah, and one interesting story, actually, on the SIG Up A side as well, right? Top 6 teams will go home with trophies. Yesterday, SIG Up A put us 216.21. Sixth place right now, CIAB is a 216.87. So SIG Up A, even though they're in this final heat of the day, they're going to be trying to actually make it into that top 6, get home with some gold. So a lot at stake for SIG Up here. They're going to be pushing hard. And in the same way, right, Pika B was at least kind of pushing SDC in that last one. SIG Up, 2 Greeks going against one another. They may put a little bit of pressure on these front hills.
This is Barracuda running for SIG Up, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, so built that buggy a while ago. I think it's been around since mid-2000s. It remains to be a strong performer. It kind of slows down through the chute. Not sure what's going on there, but certainly from the top of the hill down to the chute flag, they can rip.
So here we, sorry, go ahead.
Now, I believe one of the reasons that they chose Barracuda is because it has a better roll-up for Hill 3. So they're definitely banking on their pushers this race around.
So here we are. We already have on the women's side SDC taking home the crown. SDCA on the men's side currently in first place, trying to win for the 8th year in a row. Pika qualified in first yesterday, and they're trying to cut about a second off of their time to claim that first place, break the streak for SDC, get their first victory in while. I can't remember exactly when last time Pika won.
Wow, I'm pumped, though. I am super excited.
Well, given the length of the SDC streak, and then there's a couple fringes in there.
Something like
10 years.
2008, 2009. I think this is my 10th year, and I think SDC won my first year, if I can remember that carnival. So we will see. We have the teams coming out here getting ready. So let's go ahead and introduce the rosters for the final men's heat race day 2019. So much at stake, so much on the line here. In lane 2, we are going to have SIG F.A. On hill 1, Phil Johnson. On hill 2, Armban Hezerkani. Hill 3, Carl Young. Hill 4, Morgan Stanley. And Hill 5, Taylor Tabb. The driver, Sophie Halpern. And she is going to be in Barracuda. And in lane 1, trying to capture the gold, we have Pika. On hill 1, Carl Mark Coombe. Hill 2, Rob Levin. Hill 3, Willie Clark. Hill 4, Jason Folker. Hill 5,
30 seconds.
Cam Wilkerson. And the driver, Victoria Van Benschoten. She is in Banshee. We are under 30 seconds. You can see both buggies out here. Also some gentleman's hat. We'll be underway here with this, the final heat. So much at stake for Pike and SDC. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be the top dog? We will know in just under 2 minutes from now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And they are off. Who will be your champs this year? Carl Marcoum doing everything he can to make sure it's Pika Sigabe a few steps behind right here as we get into the transition between 1 and 2. Carl Mark passes it off to Rob Levin. The transition made now from Sigap. And here's Pike trying to get a big shove into the free roll right there. Avoid those potholes and make the nice line.
They already shaved off half a second off their time yesterday. The hill 1, I had about a 16.3, almost 0.4 seconds off the hill 1 alone, and about a half a second at this crosswalk as well.
What a fantastic start to their race.
And this is going to come down to the wire. Sigepe trailing a bit behind. 206.61 the time to beat for SDC. Pika A coming to that stop sign right at about a 52 right there.
They were 52.5 yesterday, yeah.
So about the same time through there, and here they approach the chute.
Yeah, Buggy's keeping station. Pika A rolling down with their this year new larger white wheels. Nice smooth entry, moving through. Very nice turn.
Excellent.
Sigap also threw very nicely. In fact, might be eating them up a little bit here.
Yep.
Interesting.
Sigap looking good there. Willie Clark here on that hill 3. Is he going to catch it?
A nice pickup.
He's got that bump right there. That's a pretty smooth pickup right there. And it's all going to come down to the back hills here. Does Pike have what it takes to dethrone SDC? 3 to 4 transition right there. Willie Clark falls down. Hill 4 pusher right here. Jason Folker for Pika.
If Sigap can deliver on this, they might be about a 2:10, 2:11.
And that's great for Sigap right there. Jason Folker here, 4-5 transition, coming at about a 148, 149.
This is going to be really close.
Cam
He shoved it
Wilkerson.
146.
I am gripping the edge of my seat.
This is going to be a photo finish, ladies and gentlemen. Cam Wilkerson coming up here to this finish line. Can they top the 206? We're at 203, 204, 205, coming to that line. Hands on the push bar. And it looks like that's about a 207 right there. The time is unofficial. We'll let you know when it is. But it looks like SDC may have held on. A 214.33 for Sigap A right there. We're going to wait for that official time. But it looks like it's going to be about a half a second behind SDCA. I will tell you that time as soon as I hear it. And we are going to give Pika A 206. 206.79. 206.79. That means SDCA is going to be your champion pending everything here, but it looks like that time is about 0.38 seconds left. SDCA manages to hold on. We're going to go ahead and look at the drop test right here. That is an excellent performance. So close. History has been made by SDCA. 8 years in a row pending this drop test. They now are the sole holders of the longest winning streak of race days at 8 years. And this perhaps just a formality.
And they left the door open too, and Pika just couldn't.
18.18
of a second.
seconds difference right there for Pika A. And that has got to be devastating for them.
Yeah,
what a wonderful race day by all the teams out here.
Her shirt turn, the Pika driver's shoot turn was not part of that loss. She nailed it again 2 days in a row. So somewhere else was where that thing didn't happen.
And they were able to cut off about 0.3 seconds or so from yesterday. 0.4 seconds just was not quite enough. And Sigap, do they pass that drop test?
Looks like they do.
Looks like they do. We see their chairman celebrating there, which is wonderful for them because they moved up into 4th place.
Yeah.
What a race day. What a final race. It does not get closer than that. So let's run down that finals leaderboard on the men's side. In first place, your reigning, defending, 8-time repeat champion, SDCA 206.61. In second place, just a hair behind. Pica A cannot pull it out, 206.79. Third place, CIAA 210.62. In fourth place, SIG EP A 214.05. Fifth place, Pica B 214.86. And in sixth place, Spirit B hangs on and gets a trophy, 215.22. What a race day.
Only 1800ths of a second, though. That's incredible.
We haven't seen a race day like that in a long time. The cool thing to look at that leaderboard, though, if you look, there's a bunch of different A teams up there that haven't been there in the past. So you'll see 4 different A teams up there. Pica B was the only true B team that made, Pica's the only group that had 2 in the top 6, which has typically been an SDC spot.
Yep.
So, Pica's coming back. It's good to see, but it's just frustrating that they couldn't, topple over the SDC legacy.
And a testament, if you're going to make history, do it in style. What a finish right there. What a race day. Estes, any final thoughts from you?
No, it's clearly some great driving going on today. One really bad turn and a bunch of great ones. And then weather cooperated. It was interesting. SDC certainly did sort of hold back yesterday, you could tell. I'm not sure how much Pica held back, despite Andy's attempts to convince them so. But very entertaining racing, very tight racing. It's good to see that Buggy is alive and well at Carnegie Mellon. And it's good to see how many A teams are up there in the top. So great weekend. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Any other final thoughts?
Thank you so much for having me. First time in the booth.
I hope you're back because this was, I think, a pretty good team.
Yes. No, thank you to everyone who was in the booth. Mark, Andy, Lina, earlier today, Brian, Aaron, and Jordan out there, everyone at the Buggy Alumni Association, everybody at WRCT, everybody at CMU TV, everybody a part of sweepstakes, everybody a part of student affairs, all of these teams, all of these students, everyone who came out there. This has been a wonderful, wonderful race day. Want to thank our sponsors as well, Buggy Alumni Association. We got to go ahead and thank General Motors as well as the Uber ATG for helping make this all possible. CMU TV, WRCT, W3VC, EMS, way too many people to thank. Thank you everyone so much for coming out here. This has been a heck of a race day, and that is just setting the table for next year, which is going to be Buggy Sweepstakes 100. We're going to get some more madness then. Thank you all. Enjoy your carnival. Have a wonderful afternoon. Get news. One team has pulled the form. They have not necessarily filed for a reroll, but there may be one reroll. I'm waiting on the waiting to give word on that. We will give it as soon as we have it. Looking for word. And we will update you as soon as we have information on that. So there may be one more roll out there today. It also has to be granted by the chairman. So much for a graceful exit there for us. You're listening here on WRCT Pittsburgh, 88.3. Also streaming live on CMU TV. And coming down after the rush, that was about as close as it can get. Congratulations again, SDC. Winning on both the women's and the men's time.
It's definitely no longer a competition for second place anymore.
No, that was a major statement made this year by Pica. just going to wait here and see what may be the case. Whew. It's kind of exhale after all of that.
Take a little bit of a breather
Yeah,
as well.
right. We'll see who is going for the re-roll.
We don't know which team yet is applying?
No. Nor do we know if it's granted. Again, I believe the roads are closed till 1, so we do have a little while, and then there would be some time for them to be able to, get the team prepped and all of that.
Now, to get a re-roll, you need to be approved by sweepstakes. And in order to be approved by sweepstakes, they need to find probable cause. Oh, the trucks are coming back. So
All right, and we do see the trucks coming down. Please clear the course. Please clear the course. Trucks are coming down.
Rolls aren't quite done today yet.
And it looks like there may be one more roll.
But yeah, in order to be approved for a re-roll, there needs to be probable cause. The driver needs to be shown having their line being interfered with, either by a buggy in front that causes them not to be able to take their optimal line. They need to be shown to have had a considerable speed decrease if they want to argue that they had to tap the brakes to remain in a safe roll. Occasionally, we've had drivers just stop in the middle of the race just in order to prevent a collision. Those have usually been granted a re-roll at all times. Certain things will not be granted a re-roll. So unfortunately, yesterday a false stop flag was thrown by a team member from Fringe. That would not be granted a re-roll. If you find yourself spinning in the chute, and even if you hit a pothole, that's up to your line. And so you need to be able to have a very good case as to why you need a re-roll. And occasionally, as somebody who has been in sweepstakes' shoes, we occasionally get re-roll requests for everything that says dirt in the roads to squirrel interference. So definitely some teams try whatever they can in order to get that re-roll request.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did see in the rumor mill, this is not at all official, someone speculating it might be Pika B, saying there was some interference by SDCA up there at
Speculation,
Hill 1,
right,
2.
yeah.
Again, that's purely speculation, but to give you something to think about. I mean, I don't think SDC B would have any case against Spirit B there. They just got beat up over the hill, but who knows what they may have submitted. Again, waiting for word here to finally close out Race Day 2019. Crowds beginning to thin out here, checking through street. But yeah, as Estes was saying, just a perfect day for Buggy, perfect day for Carnival. I hope you all enjoy your afternoon activities, whatever, wherever they may take you. Nice to be outside enjoying some beverages, definitely on a day like today. And maybe a little bit more extra Buggy. Also, give an announcement on some events today. The Booth and Sweepstakes Awards ceremony is going to be at the Midway stage on the Cut at 4 p.m. They're going to be giving out all these trophies, all these things we were talking about earlier here. You actually get to see the trophies get passed down coming up in a little bit.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't normally go, I'm going to make a request that y'all go to the awards tonight. I think it's at 4 o'clock. There's there's going to be a couple of special awards given out, and it's kind of an honor for some of these folks that do this job and get a chance to get awards given to people who've been around for a while. So if you do have a chance, I recommend you get out there. I think it's in the...
I think it's 4 p.m. Yeah, no,
right
it's up there. Yeah. It's 4 p.m. In Midway tent on the Cut.
Is it the one near the tennis courts this year?
I think so. It's the big tent on the Cut.
I'm trying to see. I need some Tom Wood help right about now. I think the Pika time that we just rolled is in our top 10 ever. So
I think that's somewhere here on buggyalumni.org. If you ever want to learn anything about Buggy, definitely check out Buggy, cmubuggy.org.
Right now, there's apparently some very heated re-roll discussions happening.
Now, outside of just the 6 trophies for both men's and women's that are going to be presented tonight, you're going to see the Design Comp Awards as well, which buggies have been voted best in class and best design overall by the judges on Thursday. Now, in order to qualify for your score that you received from the judges, you need to make it to Day 2. So, any teams that you saw racing today qualified for their Design Comp scores. luckily. And we're going to see just how well they did in the tent later today. There are also certain recognition awards for teams that exemplify the spirit of Buggy, as well as Chairman's Choice, teams that have been helpful to Sweepstakes throughout the year. Sweepstakes does not have an easy job. They have to work with the teams, make sure that certain teams that might be struggling have the resources and the help that they need in order to compete on race day and succeed. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see SAE come out this year, even though they are celebrating their 100th year on campus. They came out with a new buggy last year. I'm a bit sad I didn't get to see it race this year as well.
And that's one of those things. It'll be interesting to see exactly how some of that falls out. I'm just looking at some of these historical times. It looks like, yeah, SDC's got the 20. What were they at, a 206 something?
Today, 206.61?
Yeah, that's around top 20. There's like 205.55 is the 15th fastest, so it's somewhere between 15 and 20. All right, we're waiting word still on this re-roll right here. One thing kind of interesting to think about. Again, next year is going to be Buggy 100, so it's going to be pretty wild. Imagine pulling out all the stops to celebrate that race. So interesting to see what happens.
And for all you nerds out there, it hasn't been 100 consecutive years. They took some time off for the war years, but it's the 100th anniversary of when they started rolling buggies.
Just looking for some stuff on men's finals.
That's right. There was a bit of a shortage of eligible pushers and male participants back during World War II. Something about getting drafted.
One thing that is interesting, just talking about other storylines here, you mentioned, right, SAE's 100th year. A lot of people back for Fringe's 50th, and they were just outside that top 6. They ended up being in 7th place at a 2:15.79, so they were about half a second slower than Spirit B. Unfortunate that they don't get any hardware this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't be able to go up onto the stage to collect the trophy for their men's team. Didn't they place for their women's team as well?
I do believe they did place on the women's team. I think they got 4th. Yeah.
Well
4th
done.
on the women's team. So good to see the women are able to take home a little bit of hardware for them. Again, to recap the women's finish: SDCA first place, Pica A, CIAA, Fringe A, SDCB, CIAA. And on the men's side, SDCA, Pica A, CIAA, SIGEP A, Pica B, Spirit. Again, just waiting on word with this re-roll. The course is still closed right here. Potentially contentious discussion.
I don't have eyes on the trucks right now, but it doesn't seem as though too many teams are quite packing up yet. Occasionally, I mean, I'm sure Sigma Nu is about ready to go anytime now as soon as the roads are
right.
open, but
Yeah, really not sure. I guess, I mean, the only speculation I've seen is maybe Pica B asking for that re-roll, which... Oh, okay, let me read this other speculation. Trying to get some intel. CMU Buggy, Buggy alumni really helping us with some of the scoops here. I'm trying to find it, Bordick. What were you looking at?
Well, if you heard, they had a mic problem, and what I heard was Pike is contesting that the microphone was not the same as for everybody else, and that the starting gun sounded different or something like that.
At Pica A.
That's what the rumor is.
Wow.
do we have any kind of replay or video that they can use as evidence for that?
I mean, I know the audio was slightly different because we had the counting up here and we were playing it off of there. So I guess Pica A is arguing because the start gun was different. They should get a reroll. That's interesting.
Although I don't quite fault them for that, because having just even a split second and a pause for the start, like, that can affect you.
I mean, they only needed 0.18 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And
that could
if
have made
they get to
all
go
the
again and
difference.
they can cut that off, this may be one of the most
oddest.
interesting, controversial finishes when, SDC, most people pack up and go home. The streets are pretty clear here.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's a new champion. There's a different record.
Typically, when the re-roll, it's almost never faster.
No.
No.
I mean, especially after having rolled not 20 minutes ago. But
You also aren't going to have the competition of another team rolling with
Yeah.
you, which does inspire pushers to go much, much faster, especially on these front hills. I did, however, see a few members of Fringe start running over to the chute to maybe start picking up hay bales, so somebody's going to have to flag them down and make sure that they don't start doing that until we get word whether or not this re-roll will or will not happen.
Apparently, they're still discussing heatedly.
yeah.
Oh, I can imagine so.
Wow.
This has got to be a tough call for sweepstakes.
Especially how's that work? Someone like Willie, right? Or is he allowed to be in on that discussion?
No.
Or does
No,
he have to,
there were a couple things where Willie had to remove himself as a sweepstakes member for various pieces when he was pushing and doing other things. So he has to, he basically doesn't get a vote on some of these.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Now, our current sweepstakes members, one of which is SDC, is former SDC. The other, our head judge today, is Fringe. And so that conversation between them is likely going through very delicately.
Right.
Because as a sweepstakes judge, you have to try and be as non-biased as possible. But at the end of the day, what the head judge says, it goes into effect. He's going to be looking to the rest of sweepstakes for permission to make that ruling, but what he says can go. So definitely a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now. And I hope he doesn't hear me.
I'm sure he doesn't need a reminder. I'm sure he's feeling it. So there may be one more roll, and it may be a roll with a lot at stake. Again, you imagine there'd be some level of regression. But, that's why you ask for the re-roll. Wow. So we will see. No word yet coming in here to the booth. But again, the course is not yet open, not yet cleared.
Thankfully, like I said in the past, things have happened. And I said that's one of the reasons why you maybe don't want to go last, so you could get that thing in there early. But we'll see how it goes. I can't imagine that's necessarily going to get granted, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
I am a bit worried, though, because occasionally you do see barricaders begin to get up and start walking back to the start line to conversate with their teams. They have the heat schedules as well, so they know when to get up and go. Maybe they haven't been told that there might be a re-roll yet.
We will see. Again, hopefully a ruling coming down any minute now. Trying to see officially what will be the verdict. See Andy running around here? No. All right. They're very close to making a decision, my inside source says. We will pass that on as soon as we know. And this will be a race day that is remembered for a while, for a number of reasons. Pika, oh, so close to being able to knocking off SDC, but unable, and SDC then able to make the new record for most years, one in a row. Perhaps waiting right now on a re-roll request from that Pika 18.
I mean, even with the loss that Pika just suffered very closely, I think it does open the door to show that it's a doable feat.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of teams have been at that 206 time, but it's not like the 202s of the past, or 203s, which are really quite far away from most teams. I mean, look at, shoot, man, fourth place is a 214.
Yeah.
That's 10 seconds away. It's really hard to shave off 10 seconds. But if you just got to get, quarter of a second here and there, very doable.
It's like we said yesterday, all of the stars have to align. You have to have the perfect buggy, the perfect line, the perfect road conditions, and absolutely, most importantly, and to some, the best pushers as well.
And once again, just barely, but SDC did that. And that's one of those things where, you feel for this Pika team. In one sense, really a great performance, coming out on top on day one, and just a hair off on day two. But that's one of those things where literally any single moment within the race could make up 0.18 seconds.
The slightest misstep.
Right.
I mean, it's the timing of your shove. It's so many little things. You know, some would say, "Oh, a gust of wind would drop that off of the free roll." It's possible.
But that's why we designed them aerodynamically. But really, it just shows the quality and the power of some of SDC's data. They are out there. They have timers around the course almost every weekend collecting data almost as vigorously as any kind of tech startup out there. And so they want to make sure that they have the best of the best. Here's some of these things that I mentioned. I am still worried about the barricaders. We are starting to see a few bikers making their way onto the course every so often. So please, if you can hear me and you're out there, make sure that if you see a biker, ask them to please get on the sidewalk and stay there.
Barricades are coming down.
I see the barricades are moving. I do not have word officially on it, but all signs point to no re-rolls. Looking to get an official announcement here, but we see the barricades on Shenley Drive coming back down the hill. A couple lovely fluffy dogs, several lovely dogs on the course right now.
No.
Oh, to get rid of the hot dog cart.
Oh, gotcha. The hot dog cart has to head out, so that's a false alarm.
Thank you to Joe's Hot Dogs for joining us for
All
this
right,
race
and
day.
we
No
have
re-roll.
official word, no re-roll. The results stand. SDCA, your champion. Thank you very much for sticking around, everybody. This has been a wonderful, wacky, wild, dramatic race day. Who knows what Race Day 100 is going to bring next year. For everyone involved, we thank you so much. We'll see you next year.